everybody, and welcome back to the Dough Cooking Show. Welcome back to the Dough Cooking Stream. I hope you're all having an amazing, beautiful day today. I hope you're all having an amazing Sunday. Everybody, I am incredibly excited for today's stream. Today is going to be something really, really special. I am not muted, Moonha. You don't want to scare me like that. Please and thank you. I think you have the stream muted instead. Moonha, you scared the hell out of me for a second. I'm really excited about today's stream. Today is going to be special. Today is going to be one for the books, quite frankly, because we're going to be having a bit of a dinner party. And maybe they'll even stop by and hang out on camera for a little bit. I'm going to have some lovely friends over for dinner, which is a joy that I'm only now beginning to experience. I've moved out of my mom's place and now I get to have guests. Right? And so I'm really, really excited about that. I'm really excited about being able to cook for some new people. And that is going to be the crux of today's stream. And that is why we're going all out. We're going to be making something very special today. This is a little bit past the realm of normal home cooking, I think, because today is going to be a little bit celebratory. We're going to be making food from a culture, from a cuisine that I love dearly, my friends. So, and it is a cuisine that especially people outside of the United States, quite frankly, do not know enough about. We're going to be making today, everybody, Creole food. Cajun Creole cooking, specifically hailing from Louisiana, okay, is almost like a microcosm of a culture of American cooking. There is so much stuff that makes it unique, so many unique flavors, so many different unique techniques, and we'll talk about all the different fundamentals that go into it. I love Southern cooking. I especially love Cajun Creole cooking more than anything. It is so unique, it is so flavorful, and more people are beginning to learn the joy, okay, of the food that hails from Louisiana overall. And we'll talk about some of the differences between Cajun and Creole cooking, and we'll of course talk about what we're making today. Everybody, we're making 3 different dishes today. All of it to be served over one of those dishes, to be the brown rice with some butter and some lemon. That's the most boiling of them. But the real stuff that we're making today, my friends, is some collard greens. Collard greens are essential to Southern cooking. Collard greens are eaten all over the place in the American South, and I consider it to be maybe one of the most great American dishes of all time. Okay, collard greens, they're super, super delicious, they're super flavorful, and they're packed with all different kinds of smoked meat, my friends. And I'm going to show you the theory behind it. And it's hopefully going to be something that excites you enough to be able to make it on your own. It is incredibly unique, and I love really good, delicious Southern braised collard greens. I had some leftover bacon, and that was my inspiration for today. Next, my friends, we're going to be making a dish called shrimp Creole. It is shrimp inside of the spicy tomato sauce called the Creole sauce. And I'll walk you through exactly how to do that. And then everybody, last but not least, we'll be making the brown rice with some butter and some lemon juice, just to be able to soak up all the sauces and all the different broths of all of our different little dishes today. Chef, can we do a tattoo tour, please? Maybe not, because we have a lot of stuff that we need to get done for you today. So everybody, even before I begin, I'll say, you like the color scheme? Yeah, I exclusively wear red and black. Everything I own will be in red and black, always. Everybody, I want to hear you sound on yes, chef, please and thank you. Today is going to be exciting. Today is going to be the kind of a food that is not just for you and me, but to be able to go ahead and feed some guests. Because at the end of the day, home cooking just refers to any kind of cooking that you would do at home. And celebrations and parties and festivities and having guests and holidays all fall into the category of home cooking. So that happens every now and then, and I wanted to go ahead and show off my process a little bit. So everybody, today began with the fact that I had some leftover bacon. Okay, some leftover bacon, and then I went ahead and I bought some smoked pork bones and some smoked turkey necks. Collard greens demand a huge variety of all of these different kinds of smoked meats. Because with these smoked meats, my friends, we're going to make this delicious, incredible broth, the stock that is both rich and meaty and fatty and collagen-y and super, super smoky and flavorful. And the bones and all of these different little meat products, my friends, they are key. You could use smoked ham hocks. You could even do pickled ham hocks. You could do smoked bacon. You can do sausages. You can do chorizo. You can do andouille. You can do smoked turkey necks, my friends. It is entirely up to you. I am inspired by the fact that I had leftover bacon. I'm inspired by the fact that I had my leftover turkey necks, not leftover rather, those I had around, and I wanted to also go ahead and use some smoked pork bones. Again, I'm encouraging you to use a variety of different products that you have available in the store. If it's smoked chicken legs, if it's smoked turkey legs, go ahead and use that. Use different kinds of cured meat, okay? That is the magic and the joy of a collard greens, my friend. So, all of that, ready to go for today, and I'll walk you through exactly how to prepare it. Next, for the shrimp, we have some shell-on easy peel shrimp, what's called individually quick frozen shrimp, not block frozen. And everybody, when we buy shrimp, especially in the United States, we only buy frozen shrimp. The shrimp that you see in the supermarket counter will almost always be already frozen shrimp that was thawed and you have no idea how long it was sitting there. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that into the freezer. And yes, that does mean the portions will be bigger today and I will be making a bunch of food. This is going to be an aggressive amount of food, my friends. I want some leftovers, but this is mostly to be able to treat and take care of my guests. Okay, next, everybody, for Cajun Creole cooking, you need to understand your aromatic trinity, specifically celery, bell pepper, and onion. In order to make anything taste Cajun or Creole, and we'll talk about the differences in just a second, Cajun Creole cooking always demands this trinity. You see this in sauces, you see this in soups, you see this in stews. It is used just about all over the place. And in my case today, it's going to be used inside of my Creole sauce. So green bell pepper, not a red bell pepper, you want that vegetal taste. Okay, next I have a single stick of celery. I have some onion. Okay, I also have a serrano chili that I'm throwing in because, hey, I want a little bit of extra heat. I want to be able to have some extra flavor inside of my sauce. How many do I estimate this meal will serve? I don't know, maybe 5 to 6 in total, Sunny Peach Crush, something like that. Okay, we also have some lemon that's going to go towards the rice. And last but not least, my friends, we have the garlic. And colloquially, this would be referred to as the Holy Trinity, and then the Holy Ghost is the garlic. I've heard enough Cajun Creole chefs tongue-in-cheek refer to it that way. And so these are going to be finding our way into our sauce, my friends. Gonna go ahead and set that down behind me. Next, I have here, whoop, hello, get back here, thank you. I have here an entire head of heavily washed, heavily rinsed collard greens. Everybody, you have to wash this and you have to go individually and go super, super long, okay? Because they're filled with sand and they sometimes have bugs too. So you wanna soak it and then you wanna wash each and every single leaf individually, and that is exactly what we did beforehand. Collard greens, they're gonna get tender, they're gonna get delicious. And everybody, you will not expect how much amazing, amazing flavor these bad boys are going to have. These are going to be incredible. Okay, will I be washing it again due to dropping it? Koi, 5-second rule. Have I heard chefs shit talk green bell peppers? I have, Tech Jansen. And let me tell you something, I think it's complete and total nonsense. Green bell peppers have a place in the kitchen, it is just an ingredient. Okay, so we have all of these collard greens. I'm gonna go ahead and put that down behind me. My next source of inspiration, everybody, I had half a can of tomatoes that I already opened, and so we'll be using some of these fire roasted tomatoes as well as some crushed tomatoes. Again, we have all of these canned tomatoes at home, and I wanted to go ahead and use them up, and that is going to be the sauce for the shrimp today. We have some parsley, and then everybody, we gotta talk about the spices, or in my case, the lack thereof. A huge misconception, especially abroad, especially if you've ever seen anybody else try to make Cajun Creole food, they have a thing of Cajun seasoning and they put it in just about everything. That is not the spirit of Cajun Creole cooking, my friends. Cajun Creole cooking is about smoked meats, it's about the trinity, it's about simplicity, it's about letting ingredients shine, and then it also oftentimes features an aggressive amount of herbs. In my case today, everybody, we have dried thyme, dried sage leaves, and dried bay leaves as well. And that's all going to be going into my sauce, into my Creole sauce. We are not using any pre-ground spice mixes, we're not using chili powders, we're not using any of that stuff, my friends. A lot of people, they throw it in, but I'm telling you right now, for that really distinct Creole taste, it is all about the herbs and is all about the produce, and it's all about the smoked meats. It is not about a million different spices that you're adding into your food, and that is a very, very huge misconception, and I don't really know where it began. If I'm not mistaken, Cajun seasoning is used for blackening. It's used to specifically sear protein. Okay, and I might be wrong about that. Please feel free to correct me if that's the case, but it's a really important distinction. Okay, So we have a lot going on, everybody. And last but not least, I have 3 cups of brown rice that I've had soaking in some water. Now, there's a reason why I've had soaking it in water. And there's a reason why I'm using brown rice today. I want to be able to get more fiber into my diet. And brown rice has a little bit more nutritional value than white rice does. Now, we've had it soaking because it does improve some of the digestibility of it if you were to soak it and then remove the liquid that it's soaked in. And then it's also, in my mind, it's going to stop the brown rice from bursting as much. Similar to lentils, similar to beans, by giving it a nice soak for an extended amount of time in some nice cool water, okay, it should make the skins theoretically at least a little bit more flexible. So, some brown rice soaking in some water. And so, everybody, we have to make the rice, we have to make the broth for the collard greens, and then we also need to go ahead and make the sauce for the shrimp, and then we gotta cook it all and assemble it all. So, with that being said, is everybody ready for today? I want to hear one more resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching, please, and thank you. So, couple of things before we begin. As always, if you'd like to support the cooking show, exclamation mark Patreon. My goal is to be able to go full time one day, and so because I've had a couple of additional expenses, any and all help there would be really appreciated. Next, if at any point you have any cooking questions whatsoever, please remember, I'm here to teach you how to cook. I'm here to teach you how to cook at home. So feel free to ask me anything about this dish or about something else involving food. Okay, so I'm gonna have a sip of water and then we can begin, my friends. Have a little sip. Okie dokie. So, everybody, we have some brown rice, right? And now, once again, most traditionally, especially in restaurants, you would almost typically see exclusively white rice be served, or like a dirty rice or other kinds of seasoned rices. I did not want an aggressively seasoned rice today because my shrimp creole will be in this delicious sauce, and I want the rice to be able to soak it up. And so, as a result, I'm going to be pursuing a little bit more of a neutral flavor palette for my brown rice here. I'm using brown rice again for nutritional reasons, just because I would like to be able to get some more fiber in my diet any way that I can. It's not life or death, but brown rice is going to take so much more time to cook. So we soaked it in a bunch of water, and again, this does help to improve some of the digestibility of the brown rice, so people say, but mostly, in my mind, it's to make it a little bit more flexible. It's to stop the skins from bursting and to stop my rice from turning into mush. So, only thing that I'm gonna go ahead and do, my friends, is just gonna go ahead and drain this off, and we'll go ahead and get this thrown into my rice cooker. Let's drain out all of that liquid. Let's get them out of here. Strain them out, get them all gone, and then I'm going to go ahead and just dump that inside of my rice cooker and fill it back up with the amount of water that it actually needs. Okay? So filling it back up, getting some more water in there, to the line. And yeah, everybody, nice thing about a rice cooker, especially for something like brown rice, it cooks it super, super slowly, and it cooks it super gently, so that it really stops it from overcooking. You're able to manage your texture a lot easier, okay? And it's just able to go ahead and keep it warm for long amounts of time. How do I smoke the turkey? So this is pre-bought, store-bought smoked turkey necks and smoked pork bones. How long did I soak them, Sunny Peach Kush? The answer is a couple of hours. I think you'll have a noticeable effect even after just like an hour of soaking or so. And it's not super necessary, but in my mind, it should be able to improve the texture of it. So I went ahead, I drained out the liquid. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that everything is nice and submerged. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just quickly wipe the sides of this bad boy dry. But yeah, you can find smoked pork bones, you can find smoked chicken bones, right? You can find all that kind of stuff in your grocery store, in the meat section. Depending on which part of the country that you live in, it might be a little bit more sparse than others. Butcher shops and especially barbecue restaurants might also sell them as well. Okay, so everybody come take a look. We have all of this beautiful rice, okay? I'm just going to go ahead and wipe it off. And yeah, we just gave it a nice good soak for an extended period of time. And this is going to take upwards of like 2 hours in the rice cooker, okay? Brown rice takes a lot longer to cook because you can't do as high of a temperature because you would cause it to burst and explode. It takes a much longer time for the water to actually penetrate the rice itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and set it and literally forget it. And in fact, the only thing I may add to this is just going to be a little bit of salt. You can do completely unseasoned rice, but I'm going to do a little bit of salt just to be able to help balance it out. Okay, so some salt going in, and I'm just going to quickly mix in said salt into the rice itself. and then we're going to go ahead and let it go. And then we'll be finishing it with some butter and some lemon juice. Okay, so really, really simple, very clean flavors, not overly seasoned or anything. And I'm going to go ahead and add it into the rice cooker. That's it. That's all the work that it needs, my friends. Okay, and letting it go. That's it. That's all that it needed. 110 minutes to just under 2 hours my rice cooker is going to take. Again, if you were doing white rice, it would be a lot shorter of an amount of time. This is a zojirushi. Zojirushi? Is that how you pronounce it? Yes, it's a zojirushi rice cooker. It is not a Ninja branded one. Not at all, I'm afraid. Okay, so everybody, that's going ahead and doing its thing. Let's go ahead and begin talking about my lovely, beautiful collard greens. Okay, so I'm going to be doing mine in a pressure cooker today because it's able to go ahead and break it down a lot faster than doing it in a regular pot would. A lot of people, they think that greens, kale, spinach, all these other things, they think they only need 20 to 30 minutes of boiling inside of a pot because that's how long it takes for it to wilt. But everybody, in order to get beautiful collard greens, you want to basically overcook them to death. You want soft, really, really soft, beautifully tender collard greens. And everything is going to begin, my friends, with making a lovely broth. So, inside of my pressure cooker pot, all I have at the moment is just some water. I have a little bit over a quart of water or so for this entire head of collard greens. And you don't want too much water because then it would dilute the flavor too much. Okay? So, let's go ahead and begin getting some aromatics inside of my pressure cooker pot today, my friends. Okay? So got that bad boy, got them all ready to go. We're going to begin with just an onion, and we're just going to go ahead and slice it up. The onion is also basically going to turn into mush over the cooking process, and it's going to help give our broth a nice, delicious allium flavor. A lot of people, they like to saute their sausages, they like to saute their bacon for something like collard greens. But everybody, I have a big problem with that, which is I'm not looking for those super deep roasted flavors. I'm not really looking for that really big mild reaction. I'm looking for a very clean tasting broth. And in order to achieve that, I'm not going to be frying my bacon, I'm not going to be sauteing my bacon. I'm basically, for lack of better words, I'm going to be boiling my bacon to death. Okay, I'm going to be boiling it until it's nice and soft and tender and it falls apart and then it's able to shred into everything else. Okay, so the way that we cut this onion, again, I'm looking for it to break down. I'm not looking to take it away. I'm going to go ahead and just slice it up. So everybody, we're going to go ahead and cut the head of the onion off. Death heavy stream today, is Daria okay? Yeah, Tarina, we just have a lot more animal products than usual. I feel like we've done a lot of vegetarian or a lot of plant-based streams, and today I want to do something really nice and special. Chef, would using a fan help reduce crying when cutting onions? Sunny Peach Crush. Again, it always comes back to you need a sharp knife. A sharp knife, and you will crush as few cells as possible as you go. So, everybody, we have a lovely onion. All that I'm going to go ahead and do is just slice it in half just like so. And now we get to go ahead and peel this bad boy up. Just peel them up. Peel them up, peel them up. I find that onions make you cry less if you refrigerate them. That might be true, but everybody, those are all band-aid fixes to the actual issue, which is the fact that your knife is too dull, okay? You need a nice, sharp knife, okay? And if your knife is not sharp, well, you're not going to enjoy many aspects of cooking. You always, always, always need a sharp knife, everybody. So, onion, I'm going to go ahead and just cut off the butts. I'm going to cut off the butts of the onions. Get them out of here. The most dangerous knife is a dull knife. You're correct, Tech Jensen. Because a dull knife, you have to press down more and it can easily slip away. A sharp knife is safer because it doesn't slip nearly as much. So, let's go ahead and begin just slicing up my onions. And everybody, again, it's going to overcook so much that the way that you cut these is ultimately not going to matter. So just one little onion. And I'm just slicing it up, right? Maybe like 1/2 inch thick slices, something like that. Beautiful, that's it. Nice and simple, nice and easy. And now we can go ahead and take it and throw it inside of my pressure cooker pot. Let's go ahead and get all of these bad boys inside, everybody. And so once again, I'm using my pressure cooker because it is going to make much shorter work of cooking the collard greens. A lot of people, they mess up by only boiling it for 30 minutes or so, but because of how high the temperature in the pressure cooker actually gets, we're able to get it done in a lot less time. If it doesn't matter how you cut it, why do you need to cut it at all? Because quite it will still just be a big mushy block of onion, and this just helps it to evenly break down inside of the rest of the collard greens. And in fact, the onion is almost going to give it like a pseudo viscosity to it. It's going to be a very rich gelatinous stock because of all the bones that we're using, and then the onion breaking down in it is just really going to help facilitate that as well. So, quarter of an onion, or excuse me, onion cut into about like quarter-inch thick slices or so, something like that. Adding it inside. Excellent, beautiful. Next, we can think about the other things that we want to add into the stock. It's not going to be too complicated, everybody. It's mostly going to be about the meat, and it's mostly going to be about the onions. The next thing that we're going to need, though, is going to be some garlic. And we're going to put it through a garlic press. And this is also going to just help make everything nice and aromatic and delicious, everybody. Okay. So going in there, and just going to quickly get a couple of cloves out. And I'm really, really excited about this. If you've never made southern collard greens before, I quite frankly think that you're making a mistake. It is, in my mind, one of the great American dishes, and it's a cuisine that oftentimes gets really overlooked, especially on a global scale. Did I study? So, I'm not actually sure how to say tag X, but I'm entirely self-taught. I've been cooking for 14 years. I've been self-taught this entire time. And so we always take inspiration from other places and stuff. Also, love Fino. Welcome on in. How'd you find the cooking show? I hope you're having an excellent day today. But yeah, I'm entirely self-taught because I sincerely disagree with a lot of the methods that culinary school tends to teach. I find that it's oftentimes the wrong approach. Because it doesn't build an understanding and a feel, but rather it's teaching you a lot of replicable industry standards that you might be able to take elsewhere. Cooking, in many ways, similar to music, is a contextual language. It is a contextual language that is built off of the shoulder of giants. And so the best thing that you can learn with cooking is building up enough feel that you can go ahead and look at something and really be able to analyze, hey, which cuisines and cultures use this ingredient? Okay, how can I use this? What happens if the ingredient is a little bit, spoiled? How can I go ahead and save it? And so that's what I'm here to teach you guys how to do. And I'm here to show you how to build up that same kind of feel, right, that I built up through a lot of cooking. So everybody, we have all of my lovely little garlic cloves. All I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to give them a nice little smash so that we can separate the skin from the clove. Okay, and again, we're just going to crush these bad boys in instead of leaving them whole. Or we could even cut it up, honestly, for something like this. But we're going to crush it just so that we maximize the amount of garlic pungency that we get. We don't need too many garlic cloves for this, everybody. We don't want it to become too pungent. Because remember, the finer that you mince garlic, the finer that you crush it, right, the more of the allicin that you end up developing. So, honestly, only about 3 or so cloves I think is going to be perfect for something like this. Let's go ahead and pop that bad boy out. Maybe even 4. Let's do 4 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna go ahead and put that down behind me. 4 cloves of garlic. Give it a nice little squish, give it a nice little press, and off goes the skin. Come on, buddy. Off you go. Please. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your contribution. Okay. I could use the garlic press, but honestly, everybody, at the moment, this garlic press isn't so good. I don't feel all that inclined to want to go ahead and take it and wash it out after and then get like the little chunks of garlic out of there. So this might be one of the only times that I uncharacteristically not use my press. Okay? So, again, the finer that you crush it, the finer that you smash it, the finer that you chop it, the more pungent it's going to end up getting. So, everybody, the best way to process it in this case, take your bench scraper. You don't want to use the side of your knife. I don't like putting that kind of pressure on the knife. I use my bench scraper. I'm going to quickly rinse off my fingertips so I get all that sticky garlic off of it. Okay? And everybody, you can't smash this too hard. I'm going to say that again. You can't smash it too hard. So take it just like that into oblivion. That's what we're looking for. You're going to take it and you're going to smash it into oblivion. Just like so. Smash it, crush it, and destroy it. Is that loud? I can't tell if that's loud or not. Okay, that's going to be fine for something like today. Again, it's all going to cook down and it's all going to get really, really soft. Okay, so this will be just fine. Can I use a mallet? Sure you can, but I think something like a bench scraper is going to be fine. Everybody, was that loud? I have no idea if that was loud or not. Point is, that's what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and just get that all thrown inside of my pressure cooker because I want flavor, my friends. It was very loud. My ears are destroyed. I see. Okay, I'm glad that it didn't peak or anything. So you're clueless with the seasoning. So skeps, right? Is that how you said it? Or specs? I'm not sure how you wanted me to say that. We got all of that inside of the pot. And now let's go ahead and get all of the schmeat inside while we're at it. So everybody, again, I don't want you to recreate everything that we're doing here exactly. I want you to understand why we're doing the things that we do. If you don't have an onion, feel free to use something like a leek or maybe even some shallots, okay? If you don't have bacon and you don't have smoked turkey necks and you don't have smoked pork bones, feel free to use some sausage, right? Feel free to use any kind of smoked and cured meats that you may have lying around. So in my case today, everybody, we're not frying the bacon. We're not looking for any of that developed browning. Okay, we're not looking for any of that kind of caramelization. We're looking for a relatively clean stock. So I have some smoked turkey necks going inside. And I have my smoked pork bones as well. And everybody, if we're lucky, we'll be able to get this tender in time to be able to pick all the meat off of it. And then we're going to go ahead and get all of our beautiful bacon inside as well. And the goal is to season these greens, my friends. It is not with the million spices that the collard greens come together. Okay, it is using the meat. The meat is the seasoning. That is what you need to go ahead and keep in mind. Chef, do I ever bake live on stream? The answer is I do not, because I don't really like sweets very much. I try not to eat them. And I think everybody could use a little bit less sugar in their diets overall. So why do shallots caramelize so much faster than onions? Asks Tarina. Tarina, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm fairly certain it has to do with the water to sugar ratio. And I think that there is less water and more sugar, basically. Okay, so everybody, inside of this pot, one more time, we have bacon, we have smoked turkey necks, we have smoked pork bones, and we have onions, and we have garlic. This pot, is full of so much flavor right now, you have no idea. It's going to be special, it's going to be genuinely magical. I want everybody to really, really enjoy collard greens, especially because we have a lot of European fans. A lot of Europeans that are watching this don't know the magic of Cajun Creole collard greens. I'm repeating myself over and over again, but again, this is a cuisine that I'm very passionate about, needing to be more relevant on a global scale. And I'm here to explain to you the fundamentals behind it, okay? Especially Southern cooking, not just Cajun Creole in this case. Have I ever baked savory things like bread or quiche? Absolutely, Thorax. We did a baked egg recently, we did a baked soda bread as well, and we occasionally do biscuits. I'm just against doing sweets, really. So, everybody, this is all that we have inside of the pressure cooker pot. I'm going to go ahead and add it in high pressure for about 40 minutes or so, or until we basically get done processing up all the collard greens and all the other stuff that we need to get done for today. We're giving this a head start so that we can get all of the meat nice and tender, and so that we can get that broth nice and developed and nice and delicious, everybody. Okay? Add it inside, get it going, get it cooking, let it do its thing. A lot of appliances today. Rice cooker and pressure cooker, they're all going at the moment. High pressure. Again, maybe only 30 to 40 minutes, but we'll basically let this go as long as we can tolerate it. On she goes. Beautiful. Excellent. That's all that we needed to do for that. I'm going to go ahead and take a second to put a couple of things away while we have a moment of time, everybody. Just putting my tongs away, putting away this dirty plate that we no longer have any use for. And then everybody, we can go ahead and begin with the rest of the prep and all the different little things that we need to go ahead and get done for today. So the next step is, while the broth is going, we can go ahead and begin talking about how to process the collard greens. Okay, so collard greens are a little bit infamously difficult to work with. They're really dirty. They're covered in sand, they're covered in soil, and every now and then they have bugs. The very traditional way to wash them is to wash them in a little bit of vinegar and water, and then sometimes people do some salt in there as well. The vinegar portion, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to wash it with vinegar, go ahead, Godspeed. It is not actually necessary. The most important thing is just going through it and making sure that there is no little bugs and that there is no sand. Sand is kind of the worst offender. Bugs are protein. Who cares if we bite into a little bug or something? But the issue is the sand. The grit on the teeth, it is going to be so bad, it is going to be so unpleasant, you will absolutely ruin a pot of collard greens. So let's talk about how to wash them. And this is a step, everybody, that a lot of people look over when they cook. Especially so many different online recipes and all these online food content creators, they never do a very good job of explaining how to wash your vegetables. Can you use bicarbonate soda to wash them? You could, Sunny Peach Crush, but I'm telling you, water is kind of the only thing that we really need here. Okay, so here's what I do. In batches, in the biggest mixing bowl that I have, I will soak them and then I will strain them. I will soak them and I will strain them until there is no visible sand left at the bottom. Once that is the case, I will fill up a separate bowl with water and I will make sure that I'm dunking and rinsing each and every single individual leaf. Everybody, we have a lot of surface area for sand to get potentially stuck in. You want to take your time. I know it'll be effort. I know it'll be annoying. But as long as you have all of your different bowls ready to go, that is even a process that you could enjoy. Okay? This could take 20 to 30 minutes sometimes, depending on how many greens you're looking to make. This is only with one head of collard greens. Imagine if I was doing multiple. Okay? This stream feels as energetic as a smashed turkey with mango in the finals. Well, so respects, I'm happy to help out. Was so grateful for Mr. Salad Spinner today. That's why I trash can cat mom. But even the salad spinner is not big enough to accommodate the sheer volume of all of these collard greens. Okay? So, I keep repeating myself, everybody, but again, we soak it in small batches, drain it off, we do 3 to 4 cycles of that, and then we rinse off each and every single individual leaf. This theory should apply for kale, for spinach, for rainbow chard, so on and so forth, but collard greens are notoriously sandy and they're notoriously dirty, and you do not want to mess with it. Okay, what is the next step that we need to go ahead and get done for today? So, the stems of the collard greens, while can be edible and delicious, they do take a little bit too long to cook. The stems tend to be much like kale. They tend to be the toughest part of the vegetable itself, especially if it's a very thick, overgrown collard green. So all that we're going to do, everybody, and again, this is going to be a bit of a process, we're going to try and snap off the thickest portion of all of our different stems, and then we'll go ahead and discard it, okay? So just again, if we have some of the thin stems, that'll be more than okay, but the really, really thick stems, they all have to go, everybody. And I am going to go ahead and, in the meantime, quickly get a nice big bowl to be able to go ahead and put them in. So this is going to be a bit of a process. This is going to take up a little bit of time, okay? It's nasty what flows to the top if you soak greens for too long. That's right. Oh yeah, everybody. You want to give it a good several rinses, especially because greens, they tend to be covered in pesticides more than anything else. Okay, so that's it. Nice and easy. If anybody has any questions, now would be an amazing time to ask, because this is going to be, for lack of better words, a fairly mundane step. It's going to be repetitive. We're just going to go through it all and make sure that we have no big, thick stems on any of my lovely collard greens, everybody. Okay, and it's okay if we tear it up a little bit. It's all gonna get sliced up. Are collards a staple for Creole cuisine? I wouldn't know about specifically Creole cuisine, but definitely Southern cuisine, Nika. So they're absolutely everywhere in Southern cuisine. This is one of the iconic Southern dishes in my mind, right? So I hope that answers your question. So, just going through it. But yeah, as for whether or not it's iconic of Cajun Creole cuisine specifically, that I'm afraid I'm not qualified on enough to speak. But if you want to make it have more of like that Cajun Creole feel, you could use like boudin. Inside of it, you could also use something like andouille. Chef, you'd love to hear this story behind each tattoo? Yeah, I think that'd be a good question. In the meantime. Yeah, Specs, we'll get to the shrimp part, we'll get to all of that, and trust me, the seasoning part is not really the most important part. It's more so about how to buy shrimp, and I'll be teaching you guys how to do that. So, Gengar, that's my favorite Pokemon. I love Gengar to death. Specifically, I really wanted to have almost exclusively monochrome tattoos in black and red. I don't really like color otherwise. All of my tattoos are red and black. I don't like the color blue. I don't like the color yellow. And so I want to have everything I own to be red and black. I plan on having blackout tattoos with red ink, like something really nice and abstract to cover up my forearms in the near to distant future. I'm already beginning to plan one of those now. It's going to be really, really expensive. Do I have any names tattooed anywhere? No, Sunny Peach Crush, and I'm going to explain to you. Well, kind of. I'll explain my other tattoo in a second. Red in the negative space. You got it, Serena. Red in the negative space, black everywhere else. That's what I have in mind. Okay, so I want basically everything I own to be red and black. I love Gengar. That's my little guy. That's my favorite Pokemon. If any of you have ever seen my Gengar collection, right, you would just know how obsessed I am with him. Okay, next tattoo, everybody, is this right here. Okay, this directly translates to scorpion in Japanese. This is written in kanji. Right? And so there is a reason why I have scorpion tattooed on me. And first of all, it's not because I'm a Scorpio, which I am, right? I only bring up astrology when I'm trying to flirt with 30-year-old boring women at the bar, okay? So if anybody asks me what it is, I say, oh, it's because, you know, I'm a Scorpio or something. Sorry. But really, the reality of it and why I have it is because my favorite twink from Naruto, Sasori, has it tattooed on his chest, right? Sasori is very much so associated with the iconography of scorpions. He has a scorpion, he has this exact symbol tattooed on his chest, and that is my favorite Naruto character, and maybe one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. And so the reason why I never really want to get names tattooed on me, and the nice thing about the scorpion tattoo is I really do like scorpions. There's not a lot of animals I think I like. I do just so happen to think scorpions are really cool. I think Sasori of the Red Sand is really cool, right? And you know, if somebody like doesn't know anime stuff, then I can always just say it's because I'm a Scorpio. So it really all works out. Okay, next I have these two little tattoos on my wrists. These are the faces of Nanika from Hunter x Hunter, Nanika / Aluka, right? And I just happen to love Nanika. Nanika's also one of my favorite anime characters of all time. That's all, really simple. And that one I might end up getting covered up. I plan on getting it covered up because I want to have my arms completely blacked out. So, everybody, once again, we're just going through all of the colored greens. We're making sure that we're getting rid of the biggest and the thickest of those stems that would not be able to get too soft during the cooking process. Okay? So get them in there. And it's okay if you lip up the leaves a little tiny bit. That's totally fine. Kaze, welcome on in. So yeah, there you go. And then I have a couple of others that the world does not know about, and the world will not know about it, and nobody's allowed to guess what they are. Thank you. I don't mean that as a challenge. Please don't try to guess what they are. So, going through it all, just processing up all of my lovely, beautiful greens, my friends. Keeping it going, keeping it going. But yeah, I love tattoos. I love tattoos because in many ways, not to make this like into too big of a deal or anything, but I consider it almost like as essential of a part of my transition and actualizing myself to look the way that I want as I would consider going on estrogen in a lot of ways. I want to design myself. I want to look like, you know, a fantasy character. In a lot of ways, right? And so, estrogen is only one part of that, and tattoos are another side of that. Tattoos, piercings, different kinds of body mods, all of that stuff is very much up my alley. I'm still going back and forth on the idea of getting a split tongue, right? I think a split tongue would be kind of cool, but the idea of that does make me definitely quite a bit squeamish in the process of getting that. Okay, so, everybody, we're just going through all of my lovely greens, and we're processing them, and we're just making sure that we're getting rid of all of those stems, because again, they'll be a little bit too tough, and they'll be a little bit too chewy. You don't have to do this if you do cook it long enough, but for me, texture is always so important, everybody. And so, I just want to make sure that I'm especially taking care of my guests. I look epic and cool. Thank you, cool man, boy. Does a split tongue affect taste in any way? Well, for a few weeks, you're not really able to like eat. Do I drink alcohol? I do not suspect, and that's because I have just an alcohol intolerance, and I also have some chronic liver stuff, and so I can't really drink without feeling incredibly sick after. I used to enjoy drinking, but not anymore. Never mind, no other details there. Yeah. But yeah, eating, that is the biggest deterrent of why I have not decided to get, of why I've not decided to get my tongue split yet or anything, because the idea of giving up eating, you know, things that I want to eat for a few weeks to a month or so, and not being able to talk because I talk for a living, right? That is very much so my job. I talk for a living. I do a lot of work, my friends. So, you know, I'm an esports commentator. I do the cooking show. I'm a cooking teacher. So it doesn't actually feel like something I would be able to do for the foreseeable future without taking a month or two off of everything, which I do not feel at all ready to do. And it's not that important for me to get the split tongue. So yeah, so specs, not your choice at all. Thank you for clarifying that, right? Ultimately, I'll be the one to make my own decisions, but my work is the most important thing to me, really. And so I just want to be able to keep that up in the meantime. Everybody, we got rid of all of the stems. Let's go ahead and throw that away. And already, my kitchen, I can smell it inside of the pressure cooker. Everybody, this place smells amazing. You need to believe me when I say, okay, that the meat is the seasoning. I'm gonna say it again. The meat is the seasoning for these collard greens. It's not about a million different spices. It's all about that smoked meat. Dr. Slowbro, welcome on in. It is lovely to have you, and I hope you're having an amazing day today. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and really quickly get my collard greens transferred to the other bowl, and then I'll show you how I'd like to slice them. Everybody, I'd like to slice them nice and small, okay, so that they're able to wilt down nice and easily. And I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of as much of this liquid as possible. It's okay for the collard greens to be quite wet by the end of this, right? It's all gonna get boiled. There's not gonna be any sauteing. And everybody, in fact, I really don't like it when people saute their onions or they saute their bacon or something for something like collard greens. Those are not necessarily flavors that we're looking to develop. Not always are we looking to saute and sweat and soften. Sometimes food can be delicious even if it's boiled to death. And this is one of those things, everybody. Okay? Boiled food can and will be delicious if you know exactly what you're doing. And that's what I'm here to show you. So we're going to begin with a nice big stack of all of my lovely collards. Okay? And so we're almost going to chiffonade these in a way. My pressure cooker is going, everybody, and my kitchen, it is flooding with the smell of all of those different bones. It smells heavenly in here. Okay, I don't normally like to be that very generic food content creator that was like, oh, smell-o-vision. I wish that you can smell this. I want my audience globally, everybody, even if you're not American, I want you to be able to adapt these greens to you. I want you to be able to experience the majesty of Southern collard greens. Because let me tell you something, people write off American food. They just do. People think that American food, especially on a global scale, has no merit. People shit on it. And we have a lot of difficult relationships with our food. We have a lot of difficult relationships with actually getting good quality ingredients. But there is so much history and so much cultural influence, especially when it comes to Southern cooking. Everybody, what makes Cajun Creole cooking is the intersection between indigenous cooking, indigenous American ingredients, French cooking technique, as well as a lot of African American influence as well, right? Those all came together to make what I consider to be one of the most unique cuisines anywhere. It is full of flavor, it is full of smoked meats and herbs, and it is special. So, that's enough of that. Back to this, collard greens. Let's take it and let's roll it up, everybody. Basically like a pseudo chiffonade, okay? Folks keep saying tomatoes taste better in Europe, and that's because they do, Sunny Peach Crush. The American relationship with agriculture is really, really bad. We just straight up don't have good ingredients here. All of our farms are either exported to other countries and then, or rather the other countries, they grow it and then they have to ship it to us. And we have very low quality produce that way when it's imported those kinds of distances. And we also have incredibly industrialized produce. We have lost so much flavor, we have lost so much taste. American produce, it sucks. It's very sad. What exactly are collard greens? Well, it's a type of green, similar to spinach, similar to kale, similar to broccoli rabe, right? It's just a specific type of green, and when people say collard greens, they almost exclusively refer to this style of Southern preparation. So it is both the name of the dish and the name of the ingredient. Everybody, take it and slice it really thin. Nice thin strips, okay? Just like so, going all the way through. Because again, you don't want massive, massive leaves of collard greens inside of your final dish. It'll make it very difficult to eat. Chef, the chain and tank top combo goes hard. Sorry if that was already said. Nobody already said that. In fact, nobody gave me enough compliments on the fact that I think I look cute today. I'm kidding. This is a cooking show. This is the most important part. I can only be an e-girl sometimes. Okay? That's not what I'm doing here, although. Anyways, I can probably stop talking now. Don't have them in the UK, and you're curious when you see them in American cooking? Yeah. So there you go. It's just a type of green, but you could use theoretically any combination of robust greens, as long as they're not too bitter. The issue with using something like too much rainbow chard, too much Swiss chard, is it can get really, really bitter. Spinach would be amazing. Kale would be excellent in here as well. Okay? And so, I do believe collard greens are grown in other parts of the world. They might be called something different in Europe. And there might just be other equivalents. For example, in Indian cooking, right, you have palak paneer and you have sag paneer. Palak means spinach, sag means greens, and sag oftentimes refers to collard greens and a couple of different kinds of chard. Okay, so there you go. And sag can also refer to mustard greens specifically. All of those guys would make for amazing, amazing additions, but I'm using collard greens because that is what I got available to me. And that is how we get really nice traditional southern collard greens. I had them in a grocery store and I went ahead and I got some. Everybody, again, the smell of this kitchen is divine. Smoked bacon, smoked turkey, oh, beautiful. I don't tell anyone what I think about them anymore look-wise, too dangerous these days. Well, so Specs, here's my answer for you in regards to that. You need to check your own motivations and your familiarity with somebody before you tell them something about their appearance, right? You need to be close enough with somebody if you feel like, hey, this is important enough that I want to voice that to them. Otherwise, people could feel a little bit alienated by it. It's not that it's dangerous, it is that you need to be able to check your own familiarity and just gauge whether or not you guys are close enough to be able to do that and to gauge why you're even telling them to begin with. So I appreciate the comment about, like, you know, the split tongue and stuff, but also you need to give consideration to people and you should ask them, before you tell them what to do, you should ask them why they do it. You should give them the benefit of doubt that people thought it through. And if they didn't think it through, then you can encourage them to think about it more. So just by telling somebody what to do, you are in a way not considering that they might have thought about this for a while. You should first ask questions. You should ask, you know, in my case, for instance, right, we don't know each other. I'm just a Twitch streamer. You could have just asked me, why do you want this? Right, something like that. And just keep asking me questions about it until you feel comfortable enough and you still feel like you hold your opinion, you still feel like you hold your original stance, then you would try to go ahead and convince me. But if I'm describing to you my intentions, you have to be already ready to, I guess, kind of be wrong in a way. You can come into it with a predisposition and just be ready to be wrong about your intentions. And that's about healthy communication. So it's not that it's dangerous to tell people what to do with their appearance. It is that I think you can just change the way that you talk about it. So cool, you didn't miss anything. It's just more like, you know, I like talking about bigger stuff that's not always about food. I think about communicating with people all the time. I'm incredibly autistic and I think I know better, and I oftentimes know better than everybody around me, right? But it can be very alienating and off-putting if I'm just telling people what to do instead of first trying to hear them out, and sometimes they can convince me. And you have to be ready to take your own positions with a grain of salt sometimes. So you didn't do anything wrong, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to scold you. I'm just sharing a lot of my own feelings and opinions about communication because this is something that I do a lot. Everything I do is all about communicating to an audience, right? So everybody, yeah, take everything that you believe in with a grain of salt, as in you want to have principles, you want to have things that you believe in, but you should always be ready for the possibility that, hey, you might be wrong about something, and you should let somebody else convince you of that. Right? And that doesn't mean you have to give in to everybody's ambitions or everybody's, like, you know, opinions or anything. It just means learn how to build a case. Learn how to build a case and learn how to justify that case and that opinion. Okay? So everybody, we're going back in, we're processing up all of my beautiful collard greens. Again, there's no method or madness to this. We're just going in there and we're slicing it up nice and thin to get all of these bad boys nice and shredded up. Green salt? What is green salt? What are we talking about? I have no idea how chat even got to talking about green salt. What are we talking about here, guys? Now, pink salt is sodium nitrate. So Specs, I did not want to, you know, discourage you from being here or anything. I'm not upset at you or anything. None of that. Your company here is always welcome and always appreciated. Just giving you my own 2 cents in a way. Okay. Let's go ahead and get that inside. Let's go ahead, and I gotta get some of these greens off the ground, especially because they're wet. They just stick to your socks. They stick to the ground. They're super, super annoying. Quickly rinse off my hands, and then we'll be done with it, everybody. Did I take all the greens in the store? I did not, Kaza. I just took, this is just one head of greens. It is just one head, but you'll see when it cooks down, it's going to lose almost all of its volume. Right? That is just how voluminous they are. That is just how much water that they have inside of them. Taza, welcome on in. I hope you're having, everybody, I hope you're all having good days. Taza specifically, I hope you're having an awful, terrible day today. And that's that. Sorry, I'm kidding. I hope you're having an excellent day today. So, let's go ahead and take it. And the Patreon command won't work because, again, of the MoveBot cooldown timer. It's not going to let you spam it. This is what you get for volunteering your time as a mod chat. That's right. Tell him, Taza. Slice it up. This is the last of our collard greens. Would I ever quit your job to do Twitch full time? Koi, that's what we're trying to do here. So technically, I do consider this as one of my jobs. I do 3 things. I do esports commentary, I do the cooking streams, and I also do cooking teaching. And food is always going to be a part of my life. And I just try to, you know, they're all my jobs in a way. I just try to find my own path. I'm trying to find my own path, and I'm just trying to make everything that I do into what I do full time. I want to be able to run a cooking show full time. Everybody, my long-term ambitions is I want a show. I want a show, and I want a team of incredibly passionate people that understand what we're trying to do, because what I'm trying to do is make cooking fun and accessible and to really, really teach people en masse. Not a selfish cooking show with poorly written recipe recipe writers that don't do a very good job, that just pump out stuff once a week, okay, for like 30-minute meals or something. Absolutely nonsense. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to give you an overproduced, I'll either say dollar for Brawlhalla. That's right, Koi, that's me. I am not here to give you the same overproduced slop with like stunt doubles or anything. I want to have a real, proper cooking show. Does cooking teaching take qualifications? Foxy Princess, it depends. Culinary school? Yeah, absolutely, kind of. In my case, for my cooking teaching job, I think I needed qualifications, but I kind of got lucky, and I think I got a very good interview because my resume definitely did not match at all. And I've done cooking teaching in like little gigs and stuff before, but I think I got really lucky with my job. I don't know if I should put that out there on the internet. I'm just very proud of myself, and I'm very confident in myself. Okay? So everybody, look at this. I swear, I love that this isn't an advertisement for anything. That's right. That's not what I'm here to do. I just want to be able to help teach and show you how magical and amazing food is. Everybody, look at my collard greens. Okay? They're all here. They're ready to go. And whenever my broth is done, we're going to pick the meat off the bones. We're going to add the collard greens, and then we're going to pressure cook it just about until we're ready to eat. So this bad boy, I can go ahead and probably set aside behind us in the meantime. Lovely. So we're just doing all of our prep. We're getting all of that done ahead of time. The next thing that we have to go ahead and prepare and start thinking about is going to be the shrimp Creole as well as the Creole sauce, my friends. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just quickly wipe down my cutting board so that we don't make the rest of our ingredients wet. If our ingredients are too wet, things are not going to be able to saute nearly as well as we would like them to. Okay, so let's talk about my aromatics, everybody. Specifically, onion, bell pepper, celery, garlic, and then the serrano as well for fun. For Cajun Creole cooking, you need the Cajun Creole Trinity. This is an aromatic trinity that is used in sauces and soups and stews and just about everywhere in Cajun Creole cooking. Every single cuisine has its own idea of different aromatics and sometimes even trinities that are heavily associated with it. Specifically, last time we talked about a sofrito and a mirepoix in Italian and French cooking. In my case today, everybody, bell pepper, onions, celery. These components can only be interchangeable with things that taste kind of like them. You don't want to use red bell pepper. You don't want to use yellow bell pepper because they're too sweet. You want to use either a green bell pepper, or if you want to have fun with it, my friends, any green chili would be amazing. Something like poblanos, I'm sure would often be really, really delicious. Okay? Are there any popular cooking shows or even cooking shows at this present time on TV? Muna, I have no idea because I'm also checked out. Celery is there for the vegetal taste. I don't know how easily you'd be able to substitute for celery. Onions, feel free to use any allium. But everybody, you need a green pepper, you need celery, and you need allium. I'm adding a serrano for a little bit of extra heat, for a little bit of extra kick. Okay, and I could have probably done 2 serranos, but I think the one is going to be plenty for my uses today. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to go ahead and prep all of my different aromatics, my friends. Okay, so we are going to start with the one that I think is the funnest to do. Everybody, bell pepper. Here's what I don't want you to do. And I want to hear a nice yes, chef, from everybody watching. I don't like going in there and digging out the stem or anything. I think it's a complete waste of time. My favorite thing to do will always be to shave those sides. So take a look. Rib, rib, rib. We have 5 ribs on this bell pepper, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go ahead and shave it down in a way that we keep that rib contained inside of the bell pepper. Shave those sides, my friends. Ready? Take it and shave those sides and keep that white, spongy, flavorless part that'll do nothing except just add moisture into the rest of the dish. Right? Shave those sides. This is how they do it in restaurants, my friends. Okay? Normally, I don't really like to use that as like a piece of like, oh, this is the right way to do it, because oftentimes professionals and those that work in restaurants don't really know what they're doing, but this is a very good method. It's quick, it's efficient, and then we can go ahead and discard our scraps. So for this guy, we can just go in there, and we can just peel off that little chunk of white, right? Just because, again, it's a little bit spongy. It's not really what we're looking for. Okay, next, for the bell pepper, everybody. What I like to do, Gordon did it the same? Oh no. Oh no, if Gordon does it, all of a sudden I feel predisposed to not want to do it that way. So that did the opposite of motivate anybody. It's not that the white part is bad, Sunny Peach Kush, it's just that it doesn't add anything. It's just spongy and kind of nothing. It's nothing. It's a whole bunch of nothing. Okay? Ooh, I think I might need to like sweep. I have like these little greens on the ground that like kind of just like came off in the cutting process. I need to go ahead and take care of that really quickly, because that is getting annoying as hell to step on. Come on, buddy. Away you go. Thank you. That's enough greens on the ground. If I wanted to, I could leave the seeds in for spice, or is that not real? So that only applies for spicy chilies. Serrano, I'm leaving the seeds in, and the white part because it has heat. Green bell peppers, no spice at all. So, yes, for only spicy chilies. Also, welcome on in, X10 Men. It is lovely to have you. Okay, so remember, this is going into a sauce. I want a medium dice for today. I don't want large chunks because then it won't really contribute its flavor. I don't want small chunks because I've realized over time I do like being able to bite into some of the bell pepper. So small to medium chunks is going to be my ideal. Everybody come take a look. All I'm doing is we're slicing this up into beautiful batons. Nice sharp knife. And slice it. Slice it. Get those batons. Get them done. Get them going. Lovely. So yeah, over time, I used to say only fine dice. Honestly, everybody, I've realized that I like a medium dice on my bell peppers, especially for a Creole sauce. I do like being able to bite into them every now and then. And that's the only reason why I'm cutting it that way. The way that you cut food matters, right? It's not just about getting it all into little chunks or something. The way that you cut it matters. Do I have any pets? No, October's brain. And honestly, it's probably going to stay that way. Maybe in the future, I'll consider owning like reptiles again. But I really don't want to own pets because I'm a very busy person. I have very big goals and I have very big ambitions. Get a scorpion? Now that would be pretty cool. I have very big ambitions, and truthfully, I don't really want to take care of another living being that is not my own. I have a lot of big priorities, I have a lot of big goals, and I want as few responsibilities that don't have to do with that as much as possible. So, no pets for me anytime soon. And my favorite reptiles, I love tortoises. I had tortoises as a kid. We had to give them away because truthfully, we didn't take very good care of them. It makes me a little sad to think about still, but ultimately it was for the best. And a lot of the responsibility kind of like ended up falling on me, and I was like way too young to be able to take care of them properly. But as a result, I do think that permanently impacted my taste in terms of the fact that I just really like reptiles and I think they're really cute. And I love tortoises especially. I would love snakes and lizards more had they not eaten like bugs and mice. You know, not for me personally. Okay, everybody just going in, and we're getting a nice dice on my bell peppers. So again, the pepper portion, it is essential to this kind of cuisine. You cannot have Cajun Creole food without it. Okay, it is used absolutely everywhere. Well, in this case, it's not going to be for the greens, but it will be for my Creole sauce. And so, a lot of people are curious, what's the difference between Cajun and Creole? I'll explain it to you this way, everybody. Cajun refers to the country. Creole oftentimes refers to the city. Creole cuisine oftentimes has more fresh herbs, more dried herbs, that is, and it oftentimes also features tomato, whereas Cajun cooking sometimes has tomatoes, but almost no tomato whatsoever. And a lot of Cajun food is all about Well, again, there's a lot of overlaps. You can use them interchangeably and truthfully. I don't know if a lot of people would get that upset about it, but I'm not Cajun or Creole, and so I'm not from Louisiana at all, so I wouldn't be able to tell you that much. I've just seen plenty of people from the area use them quite interchangeably in a lot of culinary contexts especially. As for historically and socially, I'm not necessarily the best versed, but again, good rule of thumb, Creole equals tomato and herbs is just a nice way to think about it. Now, as for whether or not that's exactly correct, I would need probably somebody from Louisiana to correct me, but that has just been purely my own observations. The green one is not for color suspects, but because red, orange, and yellow bell peppers and the purple ones and stuff, it's because they're all sweet. We don't want the sweetness, we want the vegetal taste. Green peppers, generally speaking, have a vegetal taste to it. Poblanos, Anaheims, Cubanelles, so on and so forth. So you want green peppers because red and yellow bell peppers and whatnot, it will not have the flavor that you are looking for to make something taste distinctly Cajun or Creole. It could be a fun spin, but it would be, in my mind, a little too far of a deviation. Okay, next, celery. What I like to do, I like to almost peel the celery, especially for a raw context, but in my case today, I don't think I'm gonna be so effective. So I'm just going to rip off the ends of each, and for the celery, this guy, I want it to be in super, super fine pieces, because I hate chunks of celery. I find that chunks of celery, especially when undercooked, are incredibly unpleasant. So these bad boys, we're going to be cutting them super, super tiny and super, super fine. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to chunk it, and then we're going to cut it into nice, thin strips. Thin strips, going all the way around the celery itself, everybody. Thin strips. The color has to do with how long they've ripened on the vine. So green like green tea, I mean, correct as well. But green tea is green not how long it's, well, it's kind of ripening. It has to do with how long it's oxidized. Green tea is not oxidized at all, or maybe it is a little bit. I forgot exactly how it works. I'm pretty sure white tea is either herbal tea or it's completely unoxidized. And black tea is fully oxidized. Isn't celery poisonous? Well, I have no idea who told you celery is poisonous, but if it were poisonous, then we'd see a lot more people getting poisoned by celery. So, I don't know if I'd be able to tell you that one, Comrade Chuck. Where would you hear such a tale? Is what I'm curious about. Okay? We got into some nice, super, super thin strips, everybody. No, it's like rhubarb, you'd have to eat loads. I see. Okay, take a nice little bundle. We're going to go just a little bit at a time, everybody. Okay? Hey, Dara, I made a new dressing recipe. Can I share it with you? Coda Anthony, welcome on in. Sure, tell me about your new dressing. Everybody, I want you to go paper thin slices all the way through. I want you to go as fine as you can reasonably manage, because the celery I personally hate having in chunks. The celery, I love the flavor that it provides, but a raw piece of celery is one of life's most unpleasant tastes to me. In like a stew or a soup. I can enjoy a celery stick or dipped in like blue cheese or ranch, but I cannot stand undercooked celery. Cannot stand it. And I don't know if anybody else feels similarly. Especially in like a chicken soup, it immediately just takes me out of the experience. It takes me out of all the immersion of enjoying a nice soup, and then I bite into it and I feel like that vegetal crunch and I go, ugh, terrible, not for me. Okay? We'll do this in 2 more bundles, just to again be really, really thorough, to not rush this process. Nice sharp knife, everybody, and slice it and go slow, okay? Does anybody have any questions for me at this point in time? Sour cream, tart, cherry juice, avocado oil, cider vinegar, cayenne, and crushed walnuts. The cream and the crushed walnuts, it feels very like Central Asian in a way, right? So that sounds delicious. It feels, in fact, all of that feels very like Russian. The cherry juice, I don't know what the avocado oil is doing in there truthfully, but the cherry juice plus the walnuts and the sour cream, there is something almost very like Russian and Turkish and like Georgian about everything that you've just described there. Okay, because the cherry juice reminds me of like pomegranate molasses, which is used everywhere in like Georgian and in Turkish, not necessarily Turkish cuisine, a little bit in Turkish cuisine, but Georgian food especially. So that's what that immediately gave me the vibe of. Because that seems quite similar to pomegranate molasses, having tart cherry juice in there. That sounds tasty. That sounds delicious. Okay? Everybody, celery, we're processing it. We're getting it done. We're going nice and slow. We're taking our sweet old time. I'm very excited to be able to cook for guests today. Okay, and there you go. Let's get this little bundle going. This bundle of sticks, of celery sticks. Nice and thin. I love turnip. I grate it with the rough parts, some salt, pepper, vinegar, a little bit of oil. Oh yeah, that sounds great. It sounds really tasty. Okay. Little chunks of celery. Beautiful. All of my celery is officially processed, everybody. Next, let's go ahead and do the chili. For the chili, I'm going to go ahead and put on a glove so that I don't accidentally touch my eye later today. My stock has about 15 more minutes on it, which I think is going to be perfect because at that point in time, we'll go ahead, we'll pull it out, we'll pull out all the bones and we'll shred it up and it'll be delicious. Okay, let's grab a nice little nitrile glove. Oh, I should probably put a box of black gloves to buy on my throne wish list because we need it. We definitely need it again. I've run out of all of my black gloves and I miss them dearly and I hate the color blue. Don't like it, not for me. Get them out of here, please and thank you. So I just have to check up on a little notification. Okay, wonderful. Let's go ahead and cut the head of the chili off, my friends. Get them out of here. Let's slice it in half. If you want less heat, I wouldn't even recommend using the serrano itself. I'm only including the serrano for a little bit of extra spice, for a little bit of extra heat today. And I'm going to be doing it seeds and all. We could do one serrano, we could do two serranos, entirely up to you, everybody. Take it and slice that bad boy back on down. How serious do you think it is getting chili in your eyes? Is it painful or just worse? I mean, chronically, I'm sure the irritation is bad for you. I've gotten chili in many different parts of my body before, and it's always incredibly unpleasant, and it lasts a few hours. It hurts. It is obnoxious. Capsaicin is just that annoying. Okay? Everybody, one little chili, one little serrano chili. Perfect, beautiful, gorgeous, in fact. Next, onion. Once again, small dice. I'm looking for some chunks of onion. I don't want it to be completely melted into oblivion, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and slice the head of it off. I'm going to decapitate him. Quickly dump out my waste bowl. As always, everybody, when you cook at home, you need to have a waste bowl. It is not an option. It is not a choice. Take it, slice it right down in half through the root of it, and then we'll go ahead and peel them up. Peel it up. Get all that onion skin out of here. Get it all out of sight. Get it all out of mind. Good riddance. Goodbye. This skin still looks a little bit too papery for my tastes. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably, it's gonna be a little bit wasteful, but the skin is too papery, it's a little too thin. It's gonna be an unpleasant texture in the final product today. So away she all goes. Okay? Then everybody, I'm gonna show you the next step, which is the onion fan method. Okay? We're going to fan out this onion. We're going to make a bunch of small incisions following the shape of the onion itself, but we're keeping it attached by the root of it so that it doesn't all fall apart. This is how you easily chop an onion. You can see how sharp my knife is, isn't it? Nice and sharp, nice and beautiful. And then slice it down. Watch this. And slice, and slice, and slice. Perfectly sliced and diced onions. That's it. Gorgeous. Excellent. Every now and then I'll clean off my knife. Slicing it up, slicing it up. Excellent. And then everybody, once your cutting board is a little bit too crowded, you don't want to keep working on a cutting board like this. You want to go ahead and clean it up. Let's clean it up. Let's get it out of here. Let's put it all onto a transfer plate. Get them out of sight and get them out of mind. Excellent. And let's do the other half of the onion. And all of this is really going to make our Creole sauce stand out. This is what's going to stop it from having an Italian feel, especially the inclusion of the bell pepper above all else. I find that tomato sauces, once you start adding herbs, especially with like some oregano and onion and garlic in there, it can start to taste really, really samey, right? And in order to prevent that, again, the bell pepper and the inclusion of a few other different aromatics are going to make it taste like a Creole sauce, and it'll be lovely. You love Creole and Santa Fe recipes too? Excellent, Coda Anthony. Okay, going in there, finishing up our dice, finishing it up, finishing it up. And now we have a bunch of beautifully diced onions. That's it. So let's get that all transferred over one last time. So, everybody, here we go. Here is all of the aromatics that we need for today's dish, for today's shrimp Creole, that is. And this is for the Creole sauce. We have bell pepper, we have some onions, we have some celery, and we also have a spicy serrano chili in there for a little bit of extra heat. The green peppers are essential, the onion is in there for the sweetness and for the allium flavor, and the celery is in there to give it all a nice vegetal note. I've never used crayfish before, Coda Anthony, because I don't have access to crayfish. At least in New York City like that. And I also don't cook with a lot of seafood. Seafood tends to be expensive and it takes a lot of prep. I never really grew up cooking that much seafood. In the case of today, I'm gonna be using shrimp, but yeah, crayfish is one of those things that I've had, but I'm unfamiliar with as an ingredient to cook with. Okay, gonna have a little sip of water. So everybody, the goal of these vegetables, we're gonna get them golden. We're gonna get them sauteed. We're gonna get them really properly and beautifully cooked. We're going to then deglaze it all with a bunch of the tomato sauce that we're going to be adding inside, and it's going to be delicious and lovely and spectacular. So, in order to do so, we're going to begin preheating our pan. The biggest mistake that you can make, and I'm gonna say this again and again, everybody, and I need to hear yes, chef, because I just need to make sure that everybody here understands my plight. Okay? Super, super, super important. You never want to slam this with high heat. Never a high heat, because you'll develop hot spots and cool spots that way. And that is not what we're looking for, my friends. Okay? We're looking for it to be nicely and evenly heated. If you slam it onto a high heat, you're going to end up scorching your oil, and you will have cool spots where the food ends up sticking to. So, always low, medium heat or so. And then we're going to go in with a nice tasty fat. If you have some bacon fat, if you have some pork fat, if you have some lard or something, all of those would make for fantastic additions. In my case, I'm gonna be using some extra virgin olive oil, and then I'm gonna be finishing the sauce with plenty of nice creamy butter. So, extra virgin olive oil, let it slowly heat up with the pan to make sure that everything is nice and evenly heated. We want a generous amount of oil, everybody, because we need to make sure that all of the vegetables are evenly brown. You cannot be afraid of fat when you cook, okay? I need you all to consider the texture of this for just a moment. Look at these. We have a bunch of irregular pieces. If you put this onto a flat pan, especially a flat dry pan with a teaspoon of oil on a nonstick pan, it's not actually going to evenly heat. The oil is your medium. The oil wraps around it and helps for all of the heat to evenly distribute around the vegetable. It is why one of my biggest culinary pet peeves is seeing people saute in a super crappy nonstick pan with a teaspoon of oil because they're afraid to embrace the oil. Everybody, fat is an ingredient, fat is a component. It's okay for food to be very calorie rich and dense. You just don't always have to eat the most of it. But in the case of actually sauteing and frying your vegetables, you need that amount of fat. So, what do we actually have left to do for us in the meantime? So we gotta saute the vegetables. That's definitely one thing that we got going. We have the rice already cooking. We need to do the garlic for the shrimp Creole. We need to do the garlic for that. And then we also have to go ahead and make a little spice powder mixture, my friends. Do I know Henry's Kitchen? I think I do. Yeah, I know Henry's Kitchen. Henry's Kitchen is great. Henry's Kitchen is hilarious. Okay, let's go ahead and get a bunch of garlic. And we're gonna be using a garlic press for this because for this guy, we want him all minced up with the press. Let's do about 4 cloves or so, something like that. And I'll put away the rest of this garlic. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a small, teeny tiny little condiment bowl. So, let's grab it. Everybody, all that we have to go ahead and do with the garlic, of course, is smash it down. Also, Ryan, welcome on, and I hope you're having an amazing day today as well. I'm really excited to have my guest over for cooking. Oh, it'll be great. I never really get the joy of being able to cook for others all that much, so that's something I've just been able to explore a lot more recently because, hey, I've moved out and I'm living on my own, and you know, it's always been something that I've just kind of like dreamed of being able to do for people. So it just means a lot to me that I get to do that now. Okay. Again, that's like no shade on my mom. I just want to make that like explicitly clear. It's just like, nobody really likes having guests when they live with their parents, I think. Right? I didn't want to have guests over when I lived with my mom. Just want to make that abundantly clear. I do love my mom very much. So, peeling up my garlic. Peeling it up. Peeling it up. No misconceptions allowed here. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of these garlic peels, my friends. Let's clean up my station. And let's go ahead and cut off the butts of all of my garlic cloves. Yeah, I just did not want that to come off as talking shit. She's a lovely woman. Okay? Everybody, garlic acquired. Last but not least, what do we gotta do? We gotta press it, of course. Take it, press it, smash it. I love my garlic press because it just gets the job done nice and easy. And I can't wait to get a better one sometime soon. Because this one kind of sucks. But that's okay. There you go. Putting in all of my garlic in, everybody. Getting it through. Getting it processed. Awesome. Picking that up. Processing it once more. Oh, and my oil. At this stage, everybody, it should be nice and hot. I don't want it smoking hot because we'll lose the flavor of the extra virgin olive oil. Let's go in now and get all of my vegetables inside, everybody. My onions, my bell pepper, my celery. Okay, but not the garlic. The garlic is going to be one of the last additions. In she goes. In she goes. In she goes. In she goes. All of it goes in. And now, my friends, this is going to be an extended cooking process. This will not happen immediately. We need to collapse the vegetables. Once they've collapsed, they'll release their water. And once they've released their water, we can evaporate it. And only when it evaporates could we actually properly fry them. This is going to be a process that sometimes takes 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the kind of vegetables, depending on the size of your pan, on your heat, on a lot of different factors. This takes time. So we're going to go ahead and heavily season it with salt. Listen to the sound, because it's about to die down. That sizzling is about to go. In goes a good amount of salt. Again, this helps to extract some liquid out of it, and it also helps to get our veggies nice and seasoned. You're going to hear the sound all of a sudden die down. And that is exactly what we're looking for. Get it in there, mix it up. Why is the sound dying? Because it's no longer sauteing, everybody. It is now beginning to release its own liquid and boil in its own liquid. So, at this stage, our only priority, our only concern is to soften up these vegetables. Now, if you have a lid, that would be ideal to help it to steam. In my case, I'm just gonna throw that plate on. I'm gonna throw that plate on, and I'm gonna go ahead and let that bad boy steam. Is there a strong distinction between Cajun and Creole cooking? So Coda Anthony, again, a lot of people, they use them interchangeably. Really, the only big difference is that Creole cooking oftentimes features more dried herbs and tomatoes. And I do believe Creole specifically refers to the city, whereas Cajun refers to the country outside of New Orleans. Okay, so everybody, all of my lovely crushed up garlic, ready to go for all of my purposes today. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of it all inside, then we'll wash up the garlic press and it'll be perfect. I'm really excited for today, everybody. The broth is almost done. The broth has about 3 more minutes on it before we release the pressure. And then once the pressure gets released, you will smell that aroma. You will smell it. You'll be able to smell it through your computer screens of all of that smoked turkey, of all of that smoked pork, of all of that bacon, and all of that onion, everybody. It's going to be a treat, and it's going to be really, really special, above all else. Okay? Got my garlic all ready to go for later on. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly wash off my garlic press before continuing, because remember, you gotta clean as you go when you cook at home. Clean as you go, and you'll be rewarded with a nice clean kitchen at the end of it all. Excellent. That looks great. That looks wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and throw that into my dishwasher. And then we can go ahead and begin doing the herb blend for today. So again, really huge misconception that people have. People think that Cajun Creole food is always super spicy. They think that it uses a lot of different spices. And the reality is it doesn't. But what it does use is a bunch of fresh, not fresh, but dried herbs, things like sage, things like thyme, things like bay leaves, so on and so forth. And it makes it all nice and delicious. Abigail Lilac, good afternoon to you as well. I hope you're having an amazing day today. So here's all of my garlic for my Creole sauce. Let's go back into the pot and let's go ahead and remove my makeshift lid, because the goal of it was just to be able to trap in a little bit of steam. Now that we've trapped in enough steam, we can go ahead and mix it all back in, everybody. This just helped us to soften and collapse the vegetables from top to bottom. So stir it around, flip it around, just like so. Stir it around, flip it around. Everybody, the vegetables have collapsed. They've released their liquid. Now we have to go ahead and evaporate said liquid. I have not tried the Oreo flavored Coke. I don't drink soda like that. So I'm afraid that I will never know the joys of an Oreo Coke. Although that sounds incredibly unpleasant. I'm sorry to say, not to be too judgmental about that. That does not sound all that particularly delicious, I may add. Okay. It's going, it's happening. Everybody, my pressure cooker is just about done. We're going to go ahead and release the pressure. And then I will show you my beautiful broth on the inside. Who did I learn cooking from? Suspects. I am entirely self-taught. I never had a teacher. I've been cooking by myself my whole life, basically. And what would happen was I would take a lot of inspiration from one person, and then I would realize how wrong they are about a lot of things, outgrow them, and then move on to the next person. So a lot of different content creators, a lot of different TV chefs when I was super young. I have a lot of different sources of inspiration. Everybody, that smell, you have no idea. I'm sorry that you're so ignorant right now. I really, truly, truly am. I'm sorry that you're all ignorant to the smells that are flooding my kitchen. Bacon, smoked turkey necks, and smoked pork bones. It gave us this delicious, it gave us its juice. It gave us its rich collagen, and we turned it into gelatin. And now we have that incredible broth that the collard greens are gonna cook in. And I am so excited, everybody. Look at the vegetables. Look at all the water that came out of it. That is why we start by steaming it to collapse it, and now we enter the evaporation stage, everybody. So, we stir it around. We stir it around till all of that liquid evaporates. We stir it around and we stir it around. Amazing. Scrape down those sides really quickly. And everybody, let's go ahead and make space for this incredible broth, because now it's going to be time for us to cook those collard greens. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to being ignorant. That's right, Chai Chica. Now is going to be the one time you got to get used to it, because this is going to be crazy. This stuff is going to be incredible. You have no idea how delicious this stuff is going to be yet. I know I keep going on and on about it. I'm really gassing it up, but it really does matter. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make some space. I'm switching the stove over to this guy. We're going to go ahead and shut it off here. Everybody, my beautiful broth. All of my bones, all of my meat inside of it. It looks amazing. It looks so special, and it looks so delicious. Look at that broth. It is golden. It is rich, and it is smoky above all else. And that's exactly what we're looking for. That's perfect. It's cloudy. You see that cloudiness? That's all of the collagen that came out, guys. It got turned into gelatin in the presence of heat and water. It's rich, it's viscous, it's a little bit salty. We're gonna taste it for seasoning. And it's super, super, super fatty from the bacon as well. Okay, so here's what needs to happen now. We need to go ahead and remove all of those bones, because we're gonna pick the meat off of it and add it back inside. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab, we can use some tongs or something. No, these tongs are gonna use to handle the raw meat. I think I'm gonna use my spider, in this case, everybody. And I'm just going to gently pick up each and every single one of my bones. These are my pork bones, my turkey necks, and my bacon too. We're gonna get them all extracted. Let's save them, let's remove them, and we're gonna shred it up and it'll be delicious, everybody. So extract all of that meat, extract all of those bones, get them all to safety, and once it cools down enough, we'll be able to properly and beautifully shred it all up. Incredible. I'm very excited about this. This is truly going to be one for the books. I've never given greens this much love. I've always done collard greens, but I've never done it with this much love. This is a new level, everybody. So I'm going in and I'm inspecting it. Sometimes we'll get little tiny fragments of meat and bones. We want to make sure that we take those out just in case. We do not want little bones in our final product. So important. You don't want to be biting into your greens and all of a sudden, well, you dealt with a bone. So go back in there and really truly inspect it. I'm an amazing cook. Thank you, Mr. Blackstar. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate it. Okay? We're inspecting it. We're really being so thorough, especially because I'm giving this to guests. I don't want anybody to bite into any bone today whatsoever. Okay, now, while the broth is still hot, we need to add the collard greens into it. I'm lowering the heat on my vegetables so that nothing scorches in the meantime. So I'm just going to take a second to do that. Just lower the heat there really quickly. We can always come back to that. Okay, I've inspected it. I feel confident that there's no little bones. I'm going to give it one more go, everybody, because you can never be too safe with something like this. Okay? And now, while it's still hot, it is key so that we can add in all of my collard greens. Oh, but before we do that, I want to taste it for seasoning. It needs to be too salty. The collard greens are super, super bland at this stage. Okay? So keep that in mind. Ooh. Guys, that broth, that is something special. Wow. Honestly, wow. That's lovely. Salt. Few big pinches. It needs to be too salty, right? The greens are bland. The greens are going to release a lot of their own liquid. Salt goes in, and we can always season it later. It's just easier to get the seasoning in at this stage and not later. Add it in. Add it in, everybody. All of my collards. All of it in now. And this is going to just help it to wilt down a little bit at this stage. Get it in there. Get it all mixed up. Beautiful pot of greens that we have going, yeah? Excellent. Okay, that's in, it's steeping, and then we're gonna put it back into pressure cook once we've shredded up the meat and taken it off the bones. So I'm just continuing to lower my heat on the vegetables. They're just sauteing a little bit. We'll come back to these bad boys, everybody. They're not going anywhere, they're not running away. As for this guy right here, what do we gotta do to it? Let's get that meat going. So, back to my cutting board we go. We're gonna go through these individually, one by one, and really feel through those bones. Can I please get a yes, chef, from everybody watching? Okay, so here we go. That's one of them. I would ideally let them cool down a little bit longer, but this is the best I think that we can do for the time being. Right, we got some of the meat. Amazing, honestly. It's salty, it's cured. That's a tasty bite. I think these might be the pork ribs in this case. They just take a bunch of, like, what's amazing about these is they just take leftover bones, leftover odd ends of meat, and you smoke it down, and you're able to add it into something, and then later you peel off the meat, and it still has that salinity. It's a really amazing product, I think. A fork would be probably my best friend in this case, but I don't care. We're going in and we're really feeling for every single little bone as we do this step. Yummy, salty, delicious. Ooh, hello, buddy. Relax. Thank you. Yes, perfect. Just barely shred it up. That's gonna be one of them done. It's not gonna be that much meat, but every now and then you'll bite into it and it'll be this amazing little treat inside. Bacon, we can just go ahead and tailor that up a little bit, just like so. The bacon, not complicated at all. In fact, it melts like candy. That is amazing. The fat especially, guys, I'm telling you, you don't need to saute this. You don't gotta do anything crazy. Sometimes boiled meat can be delicious, and this is absolutely one of those times, okay? So trust the process. You don't gotta saute it. You don't gotta do any of that stuff. Come on, bacon. Thank you, my friend. What will you taste? Very yummy. Proper. Okay, now the turkey neck is gonna be a little bit tricky because the turkey neck tends to have a lot of bones. So really peel it off and feel for each one, but I think that's quite good. That's perfect. Ooh. I love turkey necks. Hey chef, I have a question. How do you make okra not slimy and not disgusting? It's a great question. I don't know. I don't actually love okra all that much. So I don't think I'd be able to give you the best answer. Nor do I ever really get to cook with it because we don't have good quality we don't have good quality fresh okra. And the only kind that you could probably get in my area would be frozen. So I don't know. I don't actually think I'm the best one to answer that specific question. This turkey skin itself though, around the neck, it's too thick and it's too smoky. You don't want to get any of the skin in, my friends, okay? So try your best to exclusively get the flesh. Just the flesh, just that tender flesh, and peel it off. Peel it off. I know it doesn't look all that appealing. You gotta trust the process though. Trust the Daramgarian process, my friends. Ooh. Okay, a little bit too thick of a chunk of skin there. That's okay. Just peel that off. Excellent. Oh. So good. So good, everybody. Really, truly incredible stuff, yeah? Okay. Keep it all going. Ooh. It's a little bit hot. My fingertips, I do have, chef fingers, so to speak. So I think I'm able to handle this uniquely well. But if you'd like, I encourage you to use gloves or just to wait a little bit longer than I did. Okay. Get some more of that pork meat off. Get those bones out of here. What do I think the new opener for the Nintendo console is going to be, Sir Specs? That's a good question. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't think I really keep up that much. And nor do I have that much of a horse in this race because I don't think I'm that enthusiastic about the future of Smash given the design direction of Ultimate and how everything has just been on a downhill ever since Melee. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not all that enthused about it, though. I don't think it's going to end well. What are my favorite cheap cuts of meat, Tech Jansen? For me, it'll always be like a whole chicken. I think they're really fun to work with, but honestly, in recent time, I think I've gotten really bored of them. So honestly, I think like hot Italian sausage. Hot Italian sausage I've been cooking with basically all the time. Okay. Last little chunk of meat, my friends. Last chunk of this turkey. Once again, we're peeling that skin. We don't want any of that skin. There she goes. And now it all falls apart. Perfect. Wait, if you go to Weekly's in Pittsburgh, Abigail, do you know who Akira is? Have you met Akira before? Okay. Everybody, I think I finally have all of the meat picked from my turkey. Picked it all. We got it. Akira's a friend of mine, and that's who's going to be joining us for dinner today. Akira is in town at the moment. That's why I was asking. Okay. Everybody, we got all the meat. Let's get it into the pot with all of my turkey. Well, all my collards, that is. Okay, gorgeous. The broth is developed. The broth is built. The meat has officially hit the rest of the greens. I'm gonna quickly wash my hands and we'll get it back in and we'll get it back cooking, everybody. And we'll let it go and we'll let it whiz and we'll let it get tender and delicious and incredible. Okay, so one more recap session. I need to hear a yes, chef, from everybody watching, please and thank you. Look at this pot. Look at this incredible, amazing pot that is full of flavor, that is full of aromatics, that is full of my incredible greens at the moment, everybody. This pot is so special. Smoked turkey necks, bacon, smoked pork bones as well, onions, garlic, collard greens. At the end, it's gonna get hit with some vinegar as seasoning for it, which is super, super essential, super, super traditional. You gotta have acidity with these kinds of collard greens. So it's all back inside, no bones, everybody. No bones, none of that. I'm stirring it up to make sure that all of the greens are nice and submerged, they're nice and covered. I'm gonna give that broth one more taste. Beautiful. And then we're gonna go ahead and tuck it in goodnight, and that'll be all. Do I smoke your own? No, Coda Anthony. I do not, but that would be fun because we're getting a grill, we're getting a smoker soon. It could be fun to start smoking up some of my own meats like that. That sounds great. Pressure cook it. Get it on high, 30 to 40 minutes or so, everybody, and get those greens tender, cooked, and seasoned. Back to this. Back to my sauce, back to my vegetables. I've had them slowly sauteing this whole time. They're getting golden, they're getting brown, they're getting delicious. Let's go in and stir it up. Okay, we want them nice and soft, my friends. We want the flavor to be nice and developed. Okay, the garlic foreign is already done. Chef Ramsay, who? That's right, Scotty. Welcome on in. Chef Ramsay is an absolute nobody. He's nobody. He's nothing. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly take a second just to clean up my station, everybody. I got some scraps, I got some bones that we no longer have any use for today. And I just dropped another turkey bone onto my ground and my floor is absolutely filthy at this point in time. And I am so sick of it and so annoyed and it is so obnoxious, but it's fine and I'm not upset and it's okay. And who cares? I do. It's my own house. I'm so sick of stepping on food items. Oh, horrible. Okay. Especially because of how sticky it is. So annoying, so obnoxious. Okie dokie. I'm gonna go ahead and take a second, put a couple things away that we no longer need. Like this dirty bowl that was full of all this other stuff. Get them out of here and throw them into the dishwasher. Out of sight and out of mind, my friends. My veggies are sauteing. They're getting nice and soft. They're getting nice and delicious. Go back in there and give it a little stir. We're frying up these vegetables beautifully. Okay. Next, let's go ahead and make a little blend of some dried herbs. So Specs, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being here. Your company is always welcome and always really, really appreciated, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and quickly wipe off my station. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly wipe off my cutting board. Okay. Excellent. Lovely. Gorgeous. Everything's happening. It's all coming together. Next step, everybody, let's get some of those dried herbs going. My veggies are continuing to saute. I'm gonna grab, you guessed it, another cute little condiment bowl and the 2 dried herbs of choice. I'm gonna be using some sage. Excuse me, I just choked on some saliva. I got some sage and I got some thyme. Do not be fooled. Cajun cuisine does not use a million different spices and seasonings. Cajun Creole cooking, guys, it can be so simple. Okay, but those dried herbs, they really do elevate it and they really do take us elsewhere. So, I'm gonna grab a spoon. I don't know how much of each I'm gonna be using. We don't wanna go ahead and go too crazy with it though. Some dried thyme. And then some dried sage leaves. Just make sure that I'm picking out all of the stems before I add them in. And yeah, everybody, sage, you do see it really, really often in this kind of cuisine. Okay? Sage, thyme, that's it. Keep it simple, keep it basic. And before we grind it up, it's going to be grinded up well into the process of cooking the sauce itself. Let me just go ahead and get rid of this bad boy. Get rid of that. Get that out of sight and out of mind. All of my scraps. Everybody, you know what I think we can do? I think we can go ahead and add in some black pepper and add in some garlic into my lovely sauteing vegetables. So, going back in, grabbing my wooden spoon, stirring it around one more time for good measure. Let's go in with an aggressive amount of black pepper. Get it in there, my friends. Get it in there. Grind it up. And let's fry the black pepper to infuse it into the oil. Oh, and it's infusing. Excellent. I'm going to quickly get rid of my spider. We have no use for that anymore, my friends. Get the black pepper in. And then we're going to go in with some fresh garlic, all of it in, and we add it in towards the end, of course, so it doesn't burn. Add it in, stir it around. Let's fry that garlic, everybody. Let's fry it, and let's fry it. And let's really, really infuse it, okay? Wow. Kitchen smells excellent. I felt like I should clarify. I should add. Okay, getting all the vegetables unstuck from the sides of the pan. My oil is infused, my oil is flavorful. I'm gonna get my fire roasted tomatoes ready, and then we'll open up the can of crushed tomatoes and add some of those bad boys inside while we're at it. And we don't need too much of the other tomatoes. We just wanna be able to compensate for the lack of tomatoes in here. So, fire roasted tomatoes, in they go, smoky, fragrant, delicious, incredible. Let's rinse out the container to get the rest of that pureed tomato in, my friends. Let's rinse it out. Get it all in. Get it all in and get it all inside. And we're going to compensate with a little bit of extra tomato as well while we're at it. Cool. Awesome. I'm going to get rid of this container. Throw him into the dishwasher while we're at it. I'm gonna go ahead and open up my fresh can of tomatoes, the new one. And this was my inspiration for today. I already had a can of opened ones, and I wanted to, And I wanted to use it up before it went bad. And that is what home cooking is all about. Even if we're celebrating, sometimes we have ingredients that, we just want to go ahead and use up. Get my tomatoes in, part two. My collard greens are braising. They're gonna get delicious. They're gonna get nice and seasoned. And everybody, again, you don't want your tomatoes to completely overpower the sauce, right? Tomatoes can easily do that. We still want to be able to taste all of the other aromatic components inside. So we're only going to do a few scoops of this guy. Only a few scoops, maybe one and maybe two. And I think we can go ahead and call it in terms of tomatoes. 1 and 2, in they go. Mix it all in, my friends. And this is the beginning of a delicious Creole sauce. What do we need? We need to season it. And we need to soften up these tomatoes as we cook it. Season it aggressively with a bunch of salt. Next bit of seasoning, we got to do the bay leaves. So, a bunch of bay leaves going in. Again, it's going to give that delicious herbaceous note. That's what we're all about, baby. That's what we're here to do. So in my bay leaves go. Excellent. Now I have a different open can of tomatoes, that's right, but it's a fresher can of tomatoes, right? So I've basically extended the shelf life of my tomato supply. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do something different with the rest of it. Maybe one more little tiny scoop. I'm looking at that amount of tomatoes, I'm going, yeah, we can do a little bit more of that sauce. Add it inside, and let's mix it in. And then we gotta do the spice blend, we gotta defrost the shrimp. Everybody, we still got our work cut out ahead of us. So that is the beginnings of a delicious sauce. The pressure cooker has built up pressure. Already, tastes delicious. Kind of just tastes like tomatoes right now, but you'll see as the vegetables cook inside, the vegetables are the key to this, everybody. The celery, the onions, the bell peppers, that's what's really gonna give us that special Creole sauce. Okay, wonderful. We're looking great. We're looking golden. We're getting all the different little things done so that we need to, my friends. The next step, I'm going to teach you the best way to process shrimp for something like this. The best way to process shrimp, the best way to buy shrimp, okay? I never ever buy unthawed shrimp. I only buy frozen shrimp. The reason why I only buy frozen shrimp is because the majority of the time, the shrimp that you get at the supermarket has already been previously frozen and they thawed it, and now you don't know how long it's actually been sitting out there, okay? So, I'm gonna quickly put my herbs away. We're gonna grind it up into a lovely powder as well. Everybody, just give it a little bit of time. And this sauce does not need to be cooked to death and for hours. We're gonna have a lot of sweetness from this amount of onion. And we just wanna still keep a lot of the fresh flavors of a lot of the different components inside of it. Okay? So in it all goes. And actually, one more thing that we could add to it, we could add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce kind of gives it more of like a restaurant-y feel. I feel like a Cajun Creole restaurant, as opposed to just always home cooking. So a little bit of that. Come on. There you go. Just a few little dashes of Worcestershire sauce. Also gonna go in. Yep. It's super intense. I don't want it to overpower the entirety of my sauce. I just want it to get a little bit of it inside. And it's just going to help, again, looking to really distinguish it from an Italian tomato sauce. Taste that. Oh, it's getting there, everybody. Why does it get a more restaurant-y feel, Abigail Lilac? Because restaurants use it in their Creole sauces all the time. That's why. Just as basic as that. Nothing too crazy of an explanation, I think. I don't know if that was too scientific. So, onions, bell peppers, celery, spicy chili, garlic, tomatoes inside, Worcestershire sauce, bay leaves. It still doesn't have the sage and thyme because we're about to grind up the sage and thyme. My rice cooker, 20 more minutes for my brown rice. My pressure cooker, collard greens. We have so many things going on right now. Let me show you how easy it is to defrost shrimp, everybody. Okay? So, you're gonna come with me. I need to hear a nice yes, chef, from everybody watching, please and thank you. So, when you're buying shrimp, you're always looking for what's called individually quick frozen. You don't want to buy a block of ice, essentially. You want individually quick frozen shrimp. Okay? They'll be nice and separated. They'll be a lot easier to get out of there, and they'll be so much quicker to thaw. This only takes a few minutes to thaw properly. Okay? So, all that we're going to need to get, we're going to get a nice bowl, something that would be able to accommodate all the shrimp in. I'm making shrimp for about 4 people today. Okay, and it's all gonna get gently poached in this amazing tomato sauce that we're making to go alongside it. And then we're going to season it with salt to let the shrimp absorb a good amount of that salt as it sits and as we wait to be able to use it. So, first step, everybody, as promised, we gotta go ahead and get a nice bowl that is large enough to be able to accommodate this amount of shrimp. I'm using up a lot more dishes today than I normally would like to, but you know what? That's okay. I'm cooking for the crowd. I'm cooking for an audience today. I'm cooking for more than just myself at the moment. So I think that's gonna be totally fine, and that's not gonna be an issue at all. So, let's get my glove. Let's go in there. Let's go ahead and get some of those shrimps out. And again, I'm just roughly approximating how much I think people are going to end up eating. I don't really know what a portion of shrimp looks like. I feel like I could eat infinite amounts of shrimp, honestly, so I might just make a bunch of it, a bunch more than I actually end up needing, and that's totally fine. You can never have too few shrimp, everybody, but you can definitely have too little. You can never have too many. Okay, that's what I was trying to say. It took me a second to get there, but I think I finally got there somehow. Some way, somehow. Okay, a few more little shrimps. And then, let's see. And then I think we should be all set for today. These are big shrimp that I got here. These are big boys. Okay. So that's out. The shrimp's out of the bag. Here's all you gotta do. Cold running water. You don't want to use warm water. You don't want to use hot water. The coolest possible water from your tap, my friends. And you're going to keep it running over the shrimp. In just a few minutes, in 5 to 10 minutes, these shrimp will go from completely frozen to being completely thawed. That's how easy it is. That's how simple it is. Cold, running water. Fill it up with cold water and keep it trickling. You don't want to leave it soaking in the cold water. You want cold running water. So I'm starting off with an aggressive pour, and then it'll just be gently, gently trickling on in. And there's a bunch of like physics explanations for why this works. This is a method that I learned from Alton Brown many years ago, and I've never forgotten. And it's become my favorite way of thawing any kind of protein. Okay? So in it goes. It's going. It's happening. I'm filling it up with cold water, and then I'm just reducing it to a slight trickle. And I'm letting it go. 5 to 10 minutes, nice and easy, super, super gentle trickle. Yeah, it's a little bit of wasted water, but it gets it done, and it gets it done really, really easy. Okay, that's it. I can go ahead and put my frozen shrimp away. And there's a few things that we got to get rid of, everybody. Once again, if any of you have any cooking questions whatsoever, please remember, I'm here to help you out. I'm here to help you get comfortable with cooking at home. So any and all questions, I greatly appreciate them. So while we have a little bit of time, I can put away some stuff. I can put away some leftovers. Specifically, I want to put away my can of tomatoes. I want to get rid of this bowl so that we can go ahead and make more space. I'm feeling a little claustrophobic in my kitchen at the moment. Okay, so I probably want to get rid of this really, really large, this massive mixing bowl. Get them out of here. Get rid of my can opener too while I'm at it. And look at my sauce. Look at my beautiful sauce. Please and thank you. It's going. It's cooking, the vegetables are softening, and that's what we want. We need the bell pepper, we need the celery, and we need the onion to release their flavors into the greater sauce, my friends. That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay? So it's going, and it's cooking. Oh, yes, she is. Give that a little taste. What would you substitute for meat if you were cooking for a vegetarian? That's a good question. Honestly, mushroom Creole sounds pretty delicious. I would do something with mushrooms in that case. Oh yeah. Everybody, it's getting there. Again, the bell pepper really, really distinguishes it super well. I think I want a little bit more Worcestershire sauce. I really just do not want this to taste like an Italian tomato sauce. Above all else, that is not the flavor palette that I'm going for with this dish today. So a little bit more Worcestershire sauce really will elevate it the way that we want it to. Taste that one more time. Okay, lovely. Next, we're gonna do some hot sauce in here while we got it as well. Add in a little bit more heat and give us a little bit more acidity. So, bunch of hot sauce gonna be going in. Give that a little stir. And again, you want like a vinegar-based hot sauce. You want something very, very acidic. It's somewhat about the heat, but it's about the flavors of the chilies that we're adding into it, okay? So add it on in. Oh yeah. I heard Worcestershire sauce was an attempt by the English to replicate soy sauce. I don't think that's the case. Fermented fish sauces have just existed for a very long time, Code Anthony. So I don't know if that was exactly the intention. Worcestershire sauce and all of these kinds of fermented fish sauces, I mean, it is everywhere. So that's going. That's happening. Everybody, let's process these herbs the best way I know how, which is to use the spice grinder. I love spice grinders, right? We don't want to use pre-ground sage. We don't want to use pre-ground thyme because it has so much less of those volatile flavors of, freshly ground stuff. So let's go ahead and get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get it processed. I have a little spice grinder. We're going to throw it in and we're going to grind it up. Add it in. Today is an appliance-heavy day. I am not excited about the amount of dishes that I am going to have by the end of this. That I am not looking forward to at all, everybody. That is not going to be the most pleasant thing in the world. But that's okay. Country girls, make do. Okay, grind it. Also, everybody, in the meantime, for any of you that would like to support the cooking show, any and all help on the Patreon if you'd like, that's the best way to financially directly support the cooking show. Also, subs go a long way. You can subscribe, you can tip, you can donate. My goal is to be able to go full-time one day, and so any and all help there in order to achieve said ambition would be really greatly appreciated. Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. Get it going, everybody. We want all of it ground up. We don't want any chunks. Get it all ground up. And then we'll go in and we'll inspect it. And I see that we still have some stems that are not ground up yet. And everybody, as we're cooking the sauce, we never want to leave it unattended too long because the bottom of the sauce may squelch. So be sure to go back in there every so often and scrape down those sides. Scrape down those sides and get it all back cooking again. Beautiful sauce that we got going on at the moment. So yummy. And that Worcestershire sauce gives us a little bit of fishiness. It'll be perfect with the shrimp. Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. Let's get it all ground up, my friends. Excellent. We have my lovely spice powder. She's ready to go. She smells incredible. We're gonna be careful not to add all of it at once. I don't want the sage and the thyme to completely overtake the sauce, okay? So we'll be spooning it in. And everybody, the nice part is, if we make extra, we can always add some more in later on. But if we add too much, we can't take any away. So make more, but don't add it all in at once. This sauce is all about balance. You want a balanced sauce, my friends. So in she goes. We're gonna start with a little spoon of my spice mixture, maybe 2 of those spoons. Add it in. It's not a lot of sauce. This is a lot more intense than you would think because it's been freshly ground. That is a beautiful Creole sauce that we have cooking, that we have happening. It'll get finished with butter. It'll get finished with parsley, my friends. This sauce is gonna be full of love and care and affection. You just have to wait. Okay, let's give it a little taste. How's it going? That is killer. That is so good. That is perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna check on the shrimp. I'm gonna see how they're doing, right? We don't want it to be, you know, still rock solid. And then I have a feeling that, guess what? Guys, it's already thawed. All of that frozen shrimp, already thawed, already ready to go. That's how long it takes. Not long ago, not long at all, rather, is the answer. I'm gonna go ahead and get into a little bowl, and then we'll peel up the shrimp and get it ready to go for today, everybody. We'll season it with salt. We'll let it sit with the salt so that it's able to go ahead and penetrate it properly. Excellent. All of my shrimp thawed, and we're about to process it and get it ready for today. My sauce is going, my shrimp is going. It's all happening, baby. It's all coming together. My collard greens are braising up beautifully. The rice is about to get buttered and lemoned. The rice is just about done. It'll be good too. It'll be perfect. That sauce is simmering. You don't want too high of a heat because otherwise you'll scorch that bottom. So every so often, you get all of that stuff from the sides and scrape it back in and scrape it back in. Let's taste the sauce for seasoning once more. How's it doing? That's so yummy. That is so tasty. It's gonna need more salt. But remember, it's still gonna evaporate a little bit. It'll get a little thicker and the flavors will concentrate, including the salt. So it doesn't need too much more. Just enough to be able to get it going. Wonderful. Gorgeous. That's happening. So, we gotta prep the parsley. We gotta go ahead and prep the shrimp. We'll season it up with some salt just so it's able to penetrate a little bit. And then it will be golden. It'll be perfect and delicious, everybody. So I'm very, very excited about all of that. Let's go ahead and do the parsley in the meantime. Rather, the lemon and the butter. Almost forgot about that. Okay, I have a lemon. We're gonna start off with only half a lemon's worth of juice. And as always, I'm gonna be using my handy dandy citrus press to be able to juice up this lemon. And my favorite thing to do, guys, with this kind of a rice dish is just to add it in just as it ends, mix it in, and let it steam. And it'll be so yummy, it'll be so perfect that way, okay? So, let's grab a little condiment bowl. We're gonna do just under half a lemon's worth of juice this time. Just in case it's a little bit too acidic. Everybody, please remember, lemons are incredibly variable in their sweetness, in their acidity, okay? You don't wanna have it all at once. We can always add more. And next, we got a bunch of butter. And as you already know, we gotta have some butter in something like this. I love the way that the butter just coats all the grains. It'll make it so silky, it'll make it so much richer. It's not just gonna be your average steamed rice or anything. That's it. Just cut it up so it easily melts in when we do mix it in. I might even do more butter than that, because that's not all that much butter, truthfully. But we'll have more butter going into our sauce and stuff, so maybe not totally necessary. The rice is almost done, everybody. We're just about ready to pull it out. Look at my sauce. Look at my sauce. Look at my gorgeous, beautiful sauce. The rice cooker is singing. It's done. Let me show you my gorgeous brown rice. Let's butter it, let's lemon it, and then it'll be ready to serve. And we'll just keep it steaming and going in the meantime. Okay? It'll be perfect. So, let's go to the stove. My rice is already done. She's singing. She's perfect. Gonna go ahead and lift it up. We have some perfectly cooked brown rice that has not exploded, and it didn't explode, everybody, because of the fact that we soaked it beforehand. That helped to make the skins, at least in my mind, a little bit more flexible. Now, let's go in, let's grab this little tool right here, just to help break up the rice a little bit first. First, we break it up slightly. Okay? It's a lot easier to do this inside of the rice cooker pot, but that's okay. Beautifully cooked brown rice. Give it a little taste. Yep, exactly the texture that we're looking for. Nice and soft. Let's first break it up and let's first declump it, my friends. So go in there and declump it. Nicely cooked brown rice, nice and tender. This is a freakishly large amount of rice. I made 3 cups of rice. I think I might have gone a little bit overkill. I don't think I really needed 3 cups of rice, everybody. But that's okay. And now lemon juice and butter. Add it in and mix it in. Let's mix in all that butter. Let's mix in all of that lovely lemon, yeah? Let's mix it in. And this is just gonna give us soft, tender, delicious, silky rice that's nice and aromatic. Butter and lemon are one of life's greatest combinations, aren't they? Nothing wrong with a little butter, with a little lemon, and with a little rice. And really, really mix it in, everybody. Really work it in. Make sure that it is distributed everywhere. You don't want any bland clumps. Taste that. Awesome. Again, does not need to be super seasoned because the sauce is going to be seasoned. The collard greens are going to be seasoned. All of those components, guys, those will be plenty seasoned. So for this guy, we wanted to intentionally be a little bit more neutral because we wanted to soak up the sauce, don't we? So totally okay for the salinity to be off. That is what we are looking for because it's all going to balance out. Delicious. Mix my sauce again. Mix my sauce. It's getting thick, it's getting viscous, and it's getting delicious. Excellent. Just really folding in and working all of my lemon and all of my butter inside. Yup. And this really helps with the density of brown rice. I find that it can oftentimes be too dense, too unpleasant. Okay, I'm gonna say right now, that should be all set. I'm gonna put it back into the rice cooker and let it stay warm. It's gonna stay warm, it's gonna stay hot, and it's going to be perfect for when our guests get here. So, away my rice goes. My rice is officially completed. Close him, let him go, and let him do his thing. Okay. Back to the food. Back to the sauce. Look at my sauce stewing away. The collard greens, they say it has about 20 minutes left on it. Theoretically, we could do a lot less than the 20 minutes, if we're being honest. But that's okay. Just because, again, it's in a pressure cooker, so it doesn't need it nearly as much time. Oh, excellent. Let's go back in there. Let's taste it. The sauce is so lovely. We're gonna go more hot sauce though. More of that hot sauce. I want that acidity and I want a little bit of that heat. We might even just do some cayenne so we don't introduce too much acidity. I don't want the hot sauce to completely overtake the flavor of all of my vegetables. Let's do a little bit more of my sage and thyme. A little bit more. Let's not overdo it. And scrape down those sides and get it all back into the sauce. Okay, taste that. Wow. Very happy about that. Louisiana sauce, that's right, Code Anthony. It is Louisiana sauce, coincidentally. The rice is already done. The sauce is getting there. The sauce is almost perfect. It's gonna take in the shrimp, and the shrimp will be the last thing we do. It'll be gently, gently poaching inside. Let's go ahead and do some parsley in the meantime. Fresh parsley. You gotta have that in a Creole sauce, okay? It's gonna make for a nice garnish. It'll be a nice way just to be able to finish up the dish today. Fresh parsley. Grab it, bundle it up, get a nice thin slice on it. I'm excited to finish up the collards. I'm excited to finish up the sauce. It's all coming together, everybody. So for the parsley, there's no secret. We're just gonna go ahead and pluck off the stems once again. Everything is coming together. Everything is tasting delicious at the moment. Because Desi moms don't know what overcooked means, I see. I'm gonna show you how to delicately poach a shrimp. We're not gonna sear it. We're not gonna do anything crazy to it. I want the shrimp to be perfectly juicy and bouncy on the inside, okay? And the way that we achieve that is to poach it. So many people, they take their shrimp and they aggressively dunk it into boiling water. And that is not the method. That is not the way. You will have overcooked shrimp on the outside and undercooked shrimp on the inside. I want shrimp that's tender and soft and juicy. And that's exactly what we're gonna get. Parsley, I'm plucking it. Oh, I'm plucking it. Oh, we're plucking it, baby. And we'll get a nice thin slice on it. And that'll be added in there as well, into the sauce. So again, anytime I'm making a tomato sauce, my number one thing in my mind is, oh God, I hope this doesn't taste like an Italian tomato sauce. And the fact that we moved away in it, with it enough, we have the green bell pepper in there. We're gonna have the parsley in there as well. You don't really see that in a lot of tomato sauces, right? All of those different components, as well as the Worcestershire sauce and the hot sauce, they have effectively gotten us out of there. I think it's a very easy pitfall, especially for chilies and whatnot. People get stuck there so easily. So, I think I want to do aggressive seasoning today. I have guests I want to impress, and so I'm not really looking for subtlety and delicate flavors today. I want to be like, yeah, here you go. Here's your aggressively seasoned sauce, ma'am. Okay, that's gorgeous. That's beautiful. She is perfect and divine. Let's give her another taste. I want to see how she's progressing. The aromas. I feel like I could be usually more bold on my seasoning. Today, I think we're hitting just the right amount. That is bold. We could go even more bold, I think. I think we could push it even further, everybody. We're gonna keep pushing it. I wanna keep pushing it today. I wanna push my own limits. I want a heavily and aggressively seasoned sauce. No delicate flavors today, my friends. Today is going to be a real feast. So, parsley, what do? We thinly slice it, of course. It's gonna be a little bit of a garnish, and it's going to be used to finish up the shrimp creole as well. Can never go wrong with aggressive. That's right, Chai Chica, you got it. Let's grab it, and let's slice it. Never chop it, my friends. Bundle it, slice it, slice it, slice it, nice and thin. I don't want massive chunks of parsley as my garnish. Okay, in it goes, in it goes, in it goes. Excellent. Everything is coming together, everybody. I can taste the sauce. I can already see the future of how the shrimp is gonna be. I can taste that buttered rice and say, hey, that one is delicate. That one is neutral, and that's all right too. You just arrived in time for the slicing of the baby boob. Evergly, welcome on in. I hope you're having an excellent day today as usual. Slice it up nice and gentle. Okay, excellent. Let's go ahead and set that aside onto a little plate. Ooh. Excellent. Then, to be able to finish up the shrimp, we will need a bunch of butter. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some and slice that up as well while we're at it. Get some more butter out of the fridge. Today is gonna be rich food. Today is gonna be rich, it's gonna be delicious, and I'm very excited about it all. So let's go ahead and get some butter. We'll go ahead and slice it up a little bit. We're gonna do just about this much butter, I think. Oh, I'm very excited about this. I have not made Cajun Creole food in a while. Well, we did the red beans and rice recently, actually. We did do the red beans and rice, and that came out quite well. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly wash off my hands, and we'll just cut the butter up and get it ready to be gently integrated into the sauce. Wonderful. Get that in there, mix it up. And then we could take out the bay leaves in just a moment. The bay leaves have infused, they've given it their all, they've made it nice and aromatic. So what do we have left to do? We gotta peel the shrimp. We gotta peel the shrimp, and then we have to season the collards. We have to make sure that the collard greens are salty enough, and then we season them with a bunch of vinegar right at the end. The acidity balance is key to a good collard green. So butter and parsley, that's all for the shrimp. I'm gonna taste my sauce one more time. See how it's going, see how it's treating us. And I say one more time, but I didn't actually mean it. I think we're gonna keep tasting it over and over again. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do away with a few things. We're gonna get rid of my bench scraper. We're gonna get rid of my knife. Everybody, it is now going to be time for us to go ahead and peel a whole bunch of shrimp. It's gonna be easy. This is easy peel shrimp. I normally like to advocate for the whole deveined shrimp, okay? And, you know, I like to do whole head-on shrimp usually because you're able to make like your stocks that way and you get to keep all the shells. In my case, I got easy peel shrimp. It just has like the least compromised texture. It already has the vein of it out and gone, okay? So, back to the sauce, little stir, awesome. Gonna make some space on my cutting board. Excellent. Okay, let's get my shrimp out. Let's get my shrimp out. Let's get my shrimp going. We're gonna get a nice big plate. I don't think we need a plate. I just need a bowl. that could somehow accommodate all of my shrimp. We'll put some gloves on, we'll tie up my hair, and we'll just peel them up. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple process. We just want to go through one by one and make sure that there is absolutely no remaining shell on them, because it just makes for somewhat unpleasant eating. So, grab a couple of gloves. The collard greens have about 10 more minutes on them. I think we'll pull them out sooner than that though. The shrimp is going to be the last thing that we do after we season the greens. So, grab your shrimp, get your waste bowl out and ready to go. In fact, I'm just going to dump out all the contents of my waste bowl and let's get it peeled. So, everybody, once again, any and all cooking questions that you may have, now would be an amazing time to ask me. Let's peel them. Let's get it going. Just go ahead and pinch off that tail. And then we have one beautiful little shrimp. We'll season it with some salt when it goes in, because remember, the sauce is seasoned, the sauce is salty enough, but the shrimp itself isn't. So we need to be able to compensate for that. One by one, and I'm picking the biggest possible shrimp for something like this. I don't want little teeny tiny shrimp. I want big juicy shrimp. Okay, just because it'll be able to hold its texture a lot better in the sauce and even with some reheating. So, big shrimps, and peel them up, and peel them into oblivion. And I bet that they're going to go ahead and come over here in a little bit, and then I'm going to have to take off my gloves and open the door for them. Is there ever a reason to get smaller shrimp? Really good question, ABS. The answer is if you want smaller shrimp in something like a shrimp salad, I find that smaller shrimp can be really, really cute and delicious. In the case of big shrimp, again, only if you want like big, meaty, juicy pieces. I've tried making shrimp broth but never had any luck with it. Coda Anthony, my recommendation for you is to go ahead and check out the America's Test Kitchen video on shrimp broth. The key to a shrimp broth is to only cook it for like 5 to 15 minutes, because any more than that and you lose a lot of the aromatic flavors from the shrimp. Mark Wilson Hanlon, welcome on in. I hope you're having an amazing day today. We're making Cajun Creole food. I'm really excited about it, and I'm just finishing up on my shrimp prep for today. That is my recommendation for you. Welcome to the best home cooking show on Twitch. If you have any and all cooking questions, please feel free to ask me at any point in time. Again, these were previously frozen shrimp. I never, ever, ever buy unfrozen thawed shrimp. The shrimp that you would buy from the supermarket counter that's already been thawed, my friends, and you have no idea how long it's been sitting there. And sometimes they would even refreeze it multiple times, which compromises the texture significantly and leads to even more of that fishy flavor being built up. The best thing that you can do is buy frozen shrimp. You want to buy IQF, individually quick frozen, not blocks of shrimp. It thaws in just a few minutes under some running water, and that is how you get the freshest possible and the best quality shrimp. You got to understand that some things are frozen, and things, when they're frozen, it preserves their quality the best. There's no such thing as freshly caught and then killed seafood in most of the parts of the United States. It's just not reality, I'm sorry to say. Peeling up all of my little shrimps. Almost done, my friends. The ones in the seafood counter are not fresh, even if you live near water. Absolutely, Raleigh. So, welcome on in. Lovely to have you. Nope, they're almost 99% of the time done with already frozen shrimp. Because shrimp boats, so hold on, really big thing that we got to keep in mind here. In many ways, shrimp especially, maybe it's not great that we're eating shrimp right now, but shrimp is kind of devastated. So much of local seafood, this idea of like, oh, locally and freshly caught this and that, you got to understand that most of those fishermen have been put out of business decades ago. We have killed, I forgot like how much of like the world seafood supply, but the answer is a scary amount of it. There is so much less seafood in our oceans now. There's so much less fish than there was even 50 years ago. So much of the shrimp that you would get in the store, there's so little actually locally caught fish, unless you're literally buying it right off the boat. That is the only way that you would know. Big supermarkets do not have locally caught seafood. They just do not. Because in order to make locally caught seafood viable, they're also pretty expensive too. You have no idea how industrialized and how destroyed it is in a lot of ways. It's ruined. So, shrimp, frozen when you can, and this was labeled as sustainable. I don't know exactly all of the rules around it, but there's some excellent resources online in order to like buy the most sustainable kinds of seafood. Okay. And we're just about done. That's all of my lovely little shrimps, my friends. All of them peeled and now officially devoid of it. Okay, excellent. Now, one last thing we gotta do. Remember, the shrimp are not salty, meaning that they're going to take away from the sauce that we have inside. We season the shrimp now because it's a lot easier for us to judge how much salt they need. So salt goes in, and I'm just mixing it around. And I'm making sure that all of my shrimp are nice and seasoned. Fish farms for repopulation, I think they're doing something like that. I don't know though. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a marine biologist. But yeah, overfishing has been pretty tragic. So, salt it now, my friends. Salt it now, season it now, and let it sit with the salt. It's gonna help penetrate a little bit. Ideally, you could brine it for a little bit too. That's always a great idea. In my case, not so needed. So, that's done. Let's get this thrown into the dishwasher because we're done with that now, my friends. Let's get it gone, out of sight and out of mind. Get it all gone. Get my waste bowl gone. Everybody, we are approaching the final stages of today. We're gonna stir up our sauce. We're gonna taste it one last time for seasoning. We're gonna take out those pesky little bay leaves. Get my waste bowl gone and out of here as well while we're at it. We're gonna wash up our knife. Let's come back to my sauce. It's really, really caramelizing around the sides, which is amazing. It's developed all of this beautiful, intense flavor. Let's taste it. Come back to the sauce. Come back to the sauce, everybody. Let's get that sauce and let's taste it. And let's see how it's treating us, okay? I want it saucy. I want it rich. Oh. Hands down, one of the best sauces I've ever made. That is yummy. That is so tasty. That is truly, truly, truly delicious, everybody. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. You know what this needs? More sage and thyme somehow. A little bit more goes in, and a little bit goes a long way, everybody. Okay, get it in there. We can start fishing out all of those little annoying bay leaves. Get them out of there. Scrape that sauce off of them. They've infused. Chat, I want to hear a nice resounding thank you, Mr. Bayleaf. From everybody watching, please and thank you. Let's get them out. And let's get them gone. Because that is not going to make for particularly good eating. Okay, the little bay leaves, they might be a little trickier to fish out. We'll find them some way. We'll find them somehow. Eventually, with enough stirring, there she is. Come on out. You're done. You're gone. And I've had enough of you. So, everybody, I'm releasing the pressure on my collard greens. The pressure has been officially released. My sauce is just about done. There should be a few more little chunks of bay leaf in there somewhere. Aha! I found one of them. Come on out. Come on out, buddy. I don't want anything to do with you. All of you must go. All of you must die. The smell of the kitchen. The collard greens have released pressure, everybody. It is incredible in here. Gorgeous. Really, really special. I'm very happy with how that came out. Now, the last step is going to be the collard greens, and then we gently poach the shrimp, and it'll all come together. Today's meal, probably one of the most special ones that we've done in a while, my friends. I'm going to wash up my knife, Gonna get them out of sight, and I'm gonna get them out of mind. Just so in the interest of cleaning as we're going. Even if we have guests, even if we got people to prepare for, we want to clean as we go, always. Now and forever, okay? So, I think I hear my phone buzzing as soon as I started to wash. No, never mind, actually. I think they're late. I am so sick of gay people being late to things all the time. So, giving my knife a little wash, getting that ready and done. My pressure has officially been released. The sauce is done, everybody. Everything is coming together. We are officially hitting the final stages of the operation. Excellent. The sauce, we got to keep it warm. We got to keep it hot. We got to keep it bubbling and going for the shrimp. But that is a perfect sauce. I'm very, very impressed with myself. I've truly, I think, outdone myself. Last time I made shrimp Creole, I don't think my sauce was nearly that good. Okay, I think they're here. I'm gonna go ahead and get them inside. Okay. It's all coming together, everybody. So, let's kill the heat on my sauce. Kill the heat on my sauce. It's going, it's bubbling away. Time to season up the collard greens, and it'll be perfect and fantastic. Have they pressure cookers that have zero risk of becoming a pipe bomb? No, not at all, Jimmy. That is still kind of innate to pressure cookers for them to do that. Okay, did I lock the door? Oh, my roommate did. Okay, hello, welcome on in.
Hello.
Hi, I'm almost done. My hand is actually wet and covered in shrimp, so I'm not gonna give you a hug, actually. Living room, you can go in there and then I'm gonna have you do the obligatory taste and then you're gonna moan on camera or something.
I always do that.
You always do that. Excellent, wonderful. Okay. Go, goodbye, thank you. All right, excellent. We're in the final stages. My lovely, delicious Creole sauce. It's done. Now we have to go ahead and check on the collard greens really quickly. We've released the pressure from them. We're gonna go ahead and just really quickly poach up our shrimp and it'll be beautiful. There is no way a bacon smoked this turkey. Fen dweller, this isn't 2022. You're done. Goodbye, get out of here. Okay, I'm gonna show you my lovely, beautiful pot of collard greens. I love collard greens. These are smoky, these are rich, and these are delicious. They need to get seasoned. So, they're in that delicious broth, made with bacon, made with smoked turkey necks, made with smoked pork bones as well. We're gonna go in there and give it a little taste. We're tasting for two things, salinity and acidity. We need both. I like to season up the entire pot. Some people, they like more or less acidity. I am gonna make that executive decision for everybody because I know best. So, delicious, amazing, and smoky, but you need to understand that the vinegar is really going to help balance everything out. It's just meaty and smoky at this point, but it's not everything that we desire from it. So in goes a generous glug or two of some vinegar, and then we're also going to need a bunch of kosher salt to go inside of this pot. A bunch of it goes in, and a little bit more too. And now let's stir it, season it, taste it, and see how it's coming along, everybody. Grab a ladle just to mix it around. That is tender, that is perfectly cooked, that is rich, and that is delicious. Okay, we have to go ahead and taste it. Let's go ahead and get a little bowl. Again, we're looking for two things. We're looking for the right salinity and we're looking for the right acidity out of this. And if it meets both of those criteria, then we're gonna be all set and we're gonna be ready to go. So grab a little foil or a little spoon. It's basically almost like a soup in a way. Oh, speaking of which, I did forget about the hot sauce component. Thank you for reminding me of that. Guys, the greens are tender. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's lovely. We're gonna do a bunch of hot sauce in there too. Thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot about it. And I like to, again, season the pot. I like to be the one that is making that executive decision for everybody else. The broth is there to season up all of my lovely greens. That is a gorgeous pot. Now, in retrospect, I think I had a little bit too much water. This is a little bit too soupy. Are the collard greens anything like Swiss chard? Yeah, I find that Swiss chard tends to be significantly more bitter though. So Swiss chard, you could do something like this with. I would just want to go ahead and balance it out. Okay? It's getting there. We're gonna do more hot sauce. And I think it'll be perfect. An aggressive amount. Again, hot sauce is adding both spice as well as some acidity inside. It's adding a little bit of everything, my friends. So really get it in there, really mix it up. Make sure that it's distributed all over. Give that broth a taste. Oh yeah, that's a delicious green. That's perfect. I love collard greens so much. Okay, that's it. That's perfect. I'm gonna taste a little bit more, just again to really, really make sure that that's exactly where it needs to be. Okay. Wonderful. You don't think you've ever had collard greens? Femme dweller, you're missing out. That's what I'm here to show you. I'm here to show you how special and delicious they can be. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get our sauce back up to a little simmer because now it's gonna be time for us to cook the shrimp. If my stove could please light. Thank you. We're gonna cook the shrimp. We're gonna gently poach it. We're gonna finish it with butter. We're gonna finish it with fresh parsley. And then we're gonna plate it and serve it. And everybody's gonna tell me how good of a job I did. Because that's really what cooking for other people is about. It's not about taking care of them. It's about how special you feel afterwards. Okay, and that's why you need to do a good job. All right? So, important. Really important context. Just want to make that abundantly clear. And I've projected my voice loud enough that hopefully they should be able to hear me. Okay. Excellent. All of my lovely sauce. Now, could we theoretically blend this? Yeah, it'll be nice and smooth, nice and silky, but I don't want to get a blender dirty. So it's gonna have a little bit of viscosity. It's gonna have a couple of chunks to it. God forbid, we'll be okay. So, now I will need a brave volunteer if one of them can step out of the living room. I don't know who it's gonna be. Can they hear me? Maybe not, actually. I don't need the heat up that high though. I can go ahead and drop that down significantly. Because a little bit too high and it's just going to end up squelching and sticking. It's a very, very thick sauce, my friends, okay? So we don't want it to squelch and stick. Okay. I just want somebody to come on camera and taste it for a little bit. So, we're doing a little Cajun Creole food today. I have some shrimp Creole. You're gonna come here, I'm about to poach my shrimp. And I want you to taste.
Oh, wow.
It's fine, it's not, it'll be okay. You're not gonna burn yourself. Is that a good sauce?
That's really good. That's like a good spice. Ooh.
That's a nice, pleasant sauce, isn't
That's
it?
really good.
Excellent.
Yummy.
It's yummy. It'll be great. I have some collard greens. I'm gonna have some shrimp going in, finish with some butter and parsley, and have some rice.
Okay.
Great. Hello and goodbye.
Good night.
Thank you. That's what I needed from you. Wonderful. I've been cooking for so long. Damn, there's a lot of hours going in. That's fine. Okay, sauce, nice and hot. And now the key, you don't want it aggressively boiling. You don't want it to overcook the shrimp on the outside, my friends. My shrimp has been nice and seasoned. It got a good amount of salt into it. The key is to gently and slowly poach it. You don't want to slam it and blast it with heat. We're not going to saute the shrimp. We're not going to do anything else to it. We're just going to be so gentle and we're going to be so delicate with it. And we're going to go ahead and add it inside, mix it in, and just sort of let it begin to set. And that is going to be my shrimp Creole, my friends. Mix it in. Mix it in. I'm not using my wooden spoon to not cross-contaminate anything. Okay, so it's a lot easier to manage the mess this way. Gorgeous. I can go ahead and officially get rid of this little bowl. Oh, excuse me. Okay. We're hitting the finish line. Let it go. Let it go for just a little bit. We just want to help it to set up a little bit. And then we can begin plating after we finish it off. It'll be great. It'll be delicious. Now, how do we actually plate this? This is going to be a really good question. I don't think I have an answer at this moment in time yet. Because we're going to have like the greens, which are a little bit soupy. You know what? I think we can fit everything comfortably into a plate. I think I know what we can do here. I have an idea. Oh, it'll be great. Okay. We'll invert some rice on. That'll be nice. How's the rice? I just want to go ahead and check on the softness of that. See if that came along well. Really simple, intentionally bland, but again, it's not supposed to be overly seasoned. We have the collards, okay, and we also have the shrimp Creole. They're both aggressively seasoned, my friends. Okay, go in there, mix up that shrimp, help it to ensure that it's all evenly cooking and that it's all coming together. It's cooking up in that lovely sauce, and it is slowly but surely poaching. Nice low medium heat, my friends. And you'll know it's fully cooked when it just finishes curling up on itself. And you'll no longer see any visible pink around it or on its sides or nothing. That'll be perfect. Okay, everybody, we're almost there. We're almost done. Shrimp is poaching up. I think we can probably begin plating at this stage, honestly. I think we have enough time that I would be able to go ahead and get away with that. That'll be great. So, any and all final questions, now would be an excellent time to go ahead and ask me. This would be it. This would be the moment. I'm going to go ahead and get a nice stack of plates out. Oh. And we'll make it pretty. Normally, I don't give it too much time and attention to want to give it impeccable plating. But in my case today, I'll give it a little bit more effort than the usual. So, shrimp. It's poaching up, my friends. It's poaching. It's cooking. It's getting there. Slowly but surely, it is heating up all the way through. And that is the key. Slowly. You want it to slowly stew. You want it to slowly come together. That is some beautiful shrimp, if I've ever seen it. Okay. Whoa. So, let's get some plates ready. That'll be good. I do wonder, will brown rice actually be starchy enough to let it stick if I were to plate it up the, you know, kind of cliche Reddit way? Maybe. I guess we'll find out. I'm gonna grab a nice cute little bowl or a nice cute little cup or something like that. I see that I have a perfect sized cup. We'll portion out some rice and get it going. It'll be perfect. Everybody, the shrimp is almost done. Few more seconds on it, and then she'll be perfect. We never want to push it too far though. Push it too far, and you will not have beautifully poached shrimp at all. And so it'll be rubbery and chewy and snappy in all the wrong ways. So, it's going. Next, for the rice. Here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna grab a little glass, something like this. Or maybe a wider bowl. I think something a little wider than that would be optimal. I don't know what I have that would actually properly accommodate that. There we go. One of these guys. That'll be perfect. Ugh. Do I like plant-based butter or animal-based? So plant-based, probably not, because in general, margarine and Crisco, I never like doing these like culinary nutritional absolutisms where I say something along the lines of like, oh, you should never have any of this. But Crisco and margarine is pretty generally regarded as universally not great. So if there's butters that aren't that, I think that would be optimal. That would be ideal in that case. Okay. Shrimp are almost done, my friends. They're almost done curling up. They're almost cooked all the way through. A few more little seconds. Next, let's go ahead and plate the rice. How do we do it? Take it, invert it, just like so. Tap it to make sure it's not stuck. Give a little circle, rotation, and then you have a nice little pad of rice. Excellent. And let's go ahead and rinse and repeat with each and every single one of them. Just a little bit of butter in there, just a little bit of lemon. Again, nothing too crazy, and it's supposed to be intentionally bland, my friends. It's supposed to be neutral, because everything else is supposed to balance on it so much better, okay? So, take it, invert it. Excellent, wonderful. And so yeah, it holds up a lot less than white rice, but that's okay. Everybody, my shrimp, it's done. Let's finish it. Kill the heat. In goes butter. And in goes a bunch of my fresh parsley as well. And now mix it in. You don't want to add the butter while it's still boiling. You want to do it off the flame. You don't want to melt the butter too much. You want it to basically coat everything inside and for it to maintain a little bit of viscosity. If you do just straight melted butter, it'll just be straight fat on top. Cold butter, add it in off the heat, and that should be able to cool it down just enough and help make our sauce that much richer. So there she is. That is my poached shrimp Creole. That is perfect. I'm more than happy about that, I have to say. Okay, I want to taste my sauce one last time. Grab a little spoon, give that a little taste. Wonderful. Buttery, rich, smooth. We'll garnish the tops of it with a little bit of parsley once we're done with that. Let's go ahead and finish up plating the rice, my friends. So, we're at the finish line. In fact, I think they got here at like the perfect time. So it all worked out. Okay. Some rice. Pack it in, especially because again, brown rice, not as starchy, not as viscous. You really need to pack it in to help it to hold its shape. Otherwise, it'll fall apart like one of mine already did. So, get it in there. Flip it over. Excellent. Everybody, let's finish the plating. Let's go ahead and get a nice big scoop of all of that collard green and a nice big scoop of shrimp inside. Grab some tongs. Let's do some collard greens on each. Because again, we don't want too much of that broth. That broth is delicious and it's there to really, really season it. But at the end of the day, what we are eating is the greens, my friends, and not the broth. Collard greens. We're gonna go ahead and do that for each. Yeah, that'd be a good time for a nice risotto. Yes, chef. From everybody watching, please and thank you. Not yet ready. Again, we're just getting the greens plated. We're just getting that on there. Just getting that situation happening. Gorgeous. Very happy about that. Okay. Greens on each. Then shrimp Creole, parsley to finish. It'll be perfect. Ooh. One. And two. Perfect. Delicious greens. And now, my friends, let's go ahead and get some of that shrimp on each. Probably use a ladle for that, honestly. Maybe the most efficient method of delivery that I can think of. Let's do it. Back to the stove. And then some shrimp Creole, my friends. And get it in there and get it piled up. That's it. I'm quite happy about how this came out. Okay, shrimp Creole. Oh, perfect. Get some more sauce. Excellent. Nice, big, generous portions. Okay, and a little bit more sauce. And maybe one more piece of shrimp. Perfect. Everybody, finishing touches. A little bit of parsley, then we'll be all set. Just on top for a little tiny garnish. And that's it. Okay, here we go. We've done it. We've finished it all, my friends. We're gonna do one last recap session and then I'll be out of here. So, we have really simple, just some brown rice made with a little butter and a little lemon juice. Intentionally bland because all of our other components are super heavily seasoned. We have some collard greens. We made it with bacon, smoked turkey necks, smoked pork bones. Okay, we added garlic, we added onions, we added vinegar, we added hot sauce. Then some shrimp Creole. Tomatoes, onions, bell peppers, celery, serrano chilies, a bunch of garlic, fire roasted tomatoes. Worcestershire sauce went in, sage, thyme, bay leaves, and then we gently poached the shrimp in it and finish it off with a bunch of butter. I'm going to go ahead and take the plate that I would consider the messiest for my own sake, even though that might be a lot more shrimp than I was originally intending. But I'm gonna have a little, first a little rice with some sauce. Cheers. And then a little shrimp. Juicy, tender, perfectly poached, and some collard greens. Okay, I'm anxious to get this served. I'm anxious for them to eat it. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, we're gonna have a modified schedule for next week because I'm gonna be working that weekend. So, some updates really soon. For those of you that haven't already seen the Patreon, go do that. And in the meantime, hope you all have a really good rest of your Sunday night. Thank you everybody for being here. Be well, be safe, and I'm gonna see you all really, really soon. This Wednesday, every single Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, 5 p.m. EDT, as per usual. Join the Discord if you haven't already done so as well. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Goodbye.